X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who spit facts online all the time. Can you see it? All the ones who drag my name every single day. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? They keep saying you don't have what it takes to carve out your own name underneath the shadows of gods. And I keep waiting for the day disbelievers say I flew way too close to the sun. I wait, but it never really comes. The answer to my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The answer to my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A voice that compels all to rebel from all that shackled minds. Why do they just stand there against when they fall from the battles I have overcome? You feel it, feel the cope and the seething tone that they make while I stand up, man among gods. And I keep thinking with my mill, shooting ropes in my cold that faces towards the sun. They hate, but I'm sitting comfy with their mom. The answer to my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The answer to my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A voice that compels all to rebel from all that shackled minds. The answer to my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The answer to my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A voice that compels all to rebel from all that shackled minds. It's you and me, your mom, it's me. I'm taking another hit from my name. You'll see now, watch me right now, punch your face down. Let me show you how.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hello there. The music is hype. That is the X in My Name, the official Xanderhal theme song, original song written and made by Sweet Myths, aka Holic Master, in website chat whenever they're here. So yeah, go check out the song. You can do !song in website chat for the Zanbot to drop a link to said song in the chat. Go subscribe. Go loke the video, go comment on the video, go coma all over that video, and support it as much as you can. Thank you. Apparently I've had a stroke. Let's hope not. That'd be bad. Alrighty. Already you liked the stream. Let's fucking go. Those of you that hop in here and before I even say it, you've liked the stream, you guys are goated as fuck. You guys are the OGs, the OG based viewers in the stream. At the very beginning, he's top rated. The people actually, you know who the most based people are? The people that like the stream before it even starts. When I like click into my stream an hour before it goes live and it has like 15, 20 likes already, those 20 people, you're very cool. You're awesome. Fuck, man, I'm adding that song to my playlist. Let's go! Yeah, you should definitely follow Sweet Myths. They make some pretty good music. What the dog doing? Yeah, I like Xan streams. How could you tell? Chad W. True. I am the GOAT. Indeed, you are the Dark Canuck. I'm one of those stream likers. Let's go! That's what I'm talking about. Like that goddamn stream. All right, everybody. What's this about Nick Fuentes caught watching porn? He was caught watching porn specifically. Well, we'll get to that in a moment. Nick Fuentes being gay or queer wasn't a surprise. Well, of course it's not a surprise. It's just funny because he hates gay people, but he is gay. Lemon Seizure, thank you for the €1 pound. I really appreciate that. I can't tell the difference between euros and pounds because I'm not a European. I'm not a stinky European, so I really can't tell. But thank you for the $1. I appreciate that. And yeah, you got a Deadpool profile picture, so dope. The timestamp god has arrived. Let's fucking go. Yeah, I saw your comment to my last stream. You are in fact the timestamp god. I can confirm. I can give credit to your name. I camed. We all camed. Pretty sure all conservatives are just closeted gay people. Maybe not all, but some of them are. Some of them definitely are. Okay, chat. I remembered a story, because what I've been trying to do more often now is like every time I remember an interesting story or something like that from my past, I'll write it down on a notepad so I can retell that story on stream and I don't forget about it. And one that I remembered today, I had to ask Lonnie if I should tell it on stream or not, because I was worried that it's like, because it is illegal, and but I doubt anything would come of it, but I was worried that, like, you know, maybe I don't want to say it on stream, you know? Anyway, so I wasn't always the cool guy, marijuana-loving, vape-smoking, partying, sex-having, Chad. Sigma male that you see before you today. I was once quite the square back when I was like 16, when I was a teenager, and I was working as a lifeguard when I was, you know, a teenager, and we got pee tested, and, you know, I didn't do any drugs or anything. Some of my coworkers, or would-be coworkers, did, and so I did the humble service of providing clean urine to them for their drug test to get the job, for a fee, of course, for a reasonable fee. I was 16. Drug tests are lame as fuck. Yeah, listen, I'll tell you guys one thing. I won't say which coworker because I worry that, like, I don't want to name anybody and, like, get them in trouble, but, like, I will say, one coworker I had that was, like, always high, always, like, experimenting with drugs at work as a lifeguard while on post, they dropped acid. Like, not a crazy amount. Oh, there's Holic Master right there. That's Sweet Myths. Lots of people in chat were complimenting the X of my name just earlier then, right before you got here. Anyway, so he had just dropped some acid, and he went up on post, and, you know, he's tripping balls, you know, as you do when you drop acid, and a kid starts drowning because they got a cramp, and he notices it, gets in, saves the kid. You know, the kid didn't need CPR or anything, just needed to, like, get grabbed and brought to the shore before he, like, went fully underwater and started gulping up water into his lungs. But, like, he went and he saved the kid, and he's tripping balls the whole time. And, I mean, he did it flawlessly. Bro, you're a lifeguard, don't do drugs when responsible for other people. That's what I'm thinking, but I mean, he still got his job done. He still saved that kid. He was the first lifeguard. All the other lifeguards watching that part of the water were sober. He was the only one that was high, and he was the only one that noticed the kid before he went, like, under the water. Because he was, like, very clearly struggling. He had, like, a cramp in his legs. So, yeah. Yeah, he had that acid super sight. It's like that scene in WandaVision where Maria Rambeau goes through the like the field into Westview and it gives her superpowers and she sees the world like an acid trip. That's basically what was going on for my coworker. Jesus fucking Christ, there's so many emotes. Yes, get used to it. LSD microdose is just like Mentats. Yeah, he was talking about microdosing, and that was what he was always talking about. Microdosing, man. Yeah, no, it's okay. You can drop acid and work, just microdose it. And I was just like, I've never done drugs before, and the last thing I want to do is try acid at work. I've still never tried acid. So, yeah. Oh my god. Chat, did you know that I completely forgot that I make money from doing this job? Holy shit. One Piece 34, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate that. Said, let start of the day right with a small reaction video for chat. All right, let's... Okay. Oh god, I already see. I already see what this is. Thank you, One Piece, for the $5. All right.
Eventually, they'll come to pick up the pieces
They'll come.
my dearly departed Uncle Julian left behind. And when they do, we'll have a little surprise waiting for them.
We beat Robotnik. It was over. We won.
Is this real or is this some fan-made shit? Oh god, it's a Sonic video. If it's from One Piece 34, it's gonna be a Sonic video, okay? There's no escape at this point, all right? We're in hell. This is what hell is, by the way. My personal hell is a pocket dimension, which I am just forced to watch these Sonic videos on repeat forever.
Blue Street speeds by. Sonic the Hedgehog, too fast for the naked eye. Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic, he could really move. Sonic,
This is one of the less catchy Sonic themes, I would say.
he's got an attitude. Sonic, he's the fastest thing alive. Sonic,
He is quite fast.
he could really move. Sonic, he's the fastest thing alive.
He is fast.
Fastest thing alive.
He's very quick.
Fastest thing alive.
Did you know Sonic can go fast? Did you guys know that? Some say he's quite quick even. Perhaps even speedy. Others might even say hasty. Others might even say, I can't think of other synonyms for fast, I'm sorry. Agile. I don't know, that doesn't count. Come on, agile doesn't mean fast, does it? Agile means like, you can jump and climb and stick a landing and stuff like that. Accelerated in nature, one might say. An accelerated being. Agile means nimble. What's nimble mean? Swanstar, define that word. Define nimble. I feel like fucking Matt, what's his name? Matt Watson? Matt Walsh. I feel like Matt Walsh going out on the street and harassing people asking, what is a woman? What is a woman? You lefties are wrong if you can't tell me what a woman is. What's a nimble? Nimble is a racial slur for thimbies? Thimbles? What? Your streams are making me curious about the Sonic franchise? Holy shit. My streams made you bi-curious? God, the conservatives are right. Shit. The gay agenda is real. Sonic curious? Chat, I was watching House earlier today because it's the best doctor show there is. It's the best medical drama there is, okay? I was watching House, and one of the characters in House is a bisexual woman, and House refers to her as a lesbian, And she's like, I'm not a lesbian. And House is like, I rounded up by 50%. I don't know why, but I thought that was funny. Rounded up from 50%. I mean, he asked me, mathematically it works, you know? Mathematically, he's correct. You can round up to 1 from 5. In many cases, it is reasonable to do so. I like how gay is straight up and straight is down from 50%. Well, when measuring gayness, it is, of course, yeah. If you are measuring straightness, then gay would be down, but we're measuring gayness in this scenario, so gay would be on the y-axis of the chart and would be the rising factor. Are we? Yeah, we're measuring gayness here, are we not? Isn't that what we're here to do? Isn't that what my job is, to measure how gay people are? I don't know. Actually, yes, it is my job to measure how gay people are. Oh no. Okay, chat. All right, I need to swig some water before this next segment. All right. All right. Everyone, I want to know, how are you all doing today? I'm not taking the Kinsey scale test. We got things to do. We're busy. You doing well? I want to see how you're all doing. I want to know if you're having a good day, a bad day, a mid day. You're doing good. Doing okay. Just woke up from a nap. Got a job today. Pretty mid. Really good. That's good to hear. Mid. It's been pretty good. Weather's mid. Fine, mid. Finished my shift. Amazing. Pretty mid. Good. I had some coffee. I actually had a Monster an hour ago. A Monster Energy. All right, listen up. I believe it is time to start our first segment of the stream. The Nick Fuentes Exposed segment. But first, I must ask all of you lovely, lovely people watching right now to do me one incy, wincy, tiny favor. My mic is clipping. Yeah, it does that sometimes. I ask that you just do me one small favor. Could you guys drop a like on the stream? We're at 368 viewers right now, and I think we can get up to 200 likes from 161 where we are now before we start. Come on, I think we can get up to 200. That's easy. That's easy. Easy clap. Easy clap. Like that goddamn stream. Hit that like button. Oh, we got a dono. Oh, almost there. And we're 4 away. Oh, there we go. 202 likes. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about, chat. Thank you very much. One Piece 34, thanks for the $5, says, all right, one more video, but this one is a meme, I promise. All right.
Oh, yeah?
All right.
Yeah, I have OCD, oversized cock disorder.
Same. He's just like me for real. Thank you for the $5, One Piece 34. Oversized cock disorder. Jesus Christ. All right. Okay. Listen. Oof. The neck pain has not gone away yet. I love that for me. All right. Chat. You guys know what to do when I say action, but before we do that, I want to let all of you know. If you would like to support the stream directly, financially, you can always donate, subscribe, or gift a sub over on my website, xanderhal.com/live. We got some white names in chat worth genociding. You know, the white name genocide. We're always, pushing to turn as many names blue as possible. And, of course, every single time that you donate or support me, it goes into this dono goal right here, which when it hits $300 for the stream, I immediately put on my Shadow the Hedgehog onesie and wear it for the whole rest of the stream. It's usually pretty funny, and the sooner we hit the goal, the sooner I put it on. So definitely consider supporting the stream. It doesn't, just mean that I put on the Shadow onesie, but it also means that you're supporting me, and it helps me to continue to produce content for you guys. Without your support, I wouldn't be able to do this for a living. So yeah. And if you want to support me without having to do it financially, like you don't have money, or, it's just not really a good time for you, or you don't want to spend any money or anything like that, you can do it for free simply by hitting the like button on the stream or on my videos. It helps a lot more than you even realize. It's not just an empty gesture of support that I would just be seeing. YouTube looks at likes now, and the more likes to view ratio a video or stream gets, the more YouTube pushes it in the algorithm. So definitely like the stream if you can. It helps more than you even realize. And other than that, you can follow my social media linked down below. You can support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, and Patreon. That's all linked down in the description. And yeah, let's get into it. I hate being white. Same. All right. 3, 2, 1, action. Well, it's happened, everybody. It's happened. Nick Fuentes has been caught white-handed, I guess you could say. That's really the only slightly translucently, pearlescently white-handed is what we'll say. Cum-handed. Yeah, cum-handed is a good way to say it. Watching or having just watched some interesting online content. Now, for those of you guys who don't know who Nick Fuentes is, you probably don't know why I'm talking about this, and you probably don't even know the lore behind it. Nick Fuentes is, without a doubt, probably the most well-known Nazi figure on the internet. He's very much got a pull among Zoomers. That's the audience that he aims for, and he's radicalized many a future neo-Nazi mass shooter into becoming a graper, which is what he calls his fans. However, the funny thing is, all of his fans, including himself, like to put on this very bizarre way of presenting themselves that comes off as kind of the opposite of what they seem to want people to think they are. Like, they want people to think they're these extremely traditional, clean-cut, well-put-together, traditional conservative men, right? But at the same time, they're extremely degenerate. They're constantly, rude and coming up with the most disgusting and horrible insults to call each other and other people, not really behaving in the types of ways you'd expect, a well-ordered gentleman of the 1950s to behave. And then on top of that, they'll express these very contradictory ideas, right? So, for example, they're very, very against being gay, trans, any type of LGBT, but at the same time, they're also very, 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 very opposed to women being part of their movement. They really don't like women. They've been very open about how much they hate women, which is, normal for conservatives. But then when you also throw on there, the way that they talk about women doesn't denote, at least to me, this is what Lonnie said, and it was perfectly, it perfectly phrases what I was thinking. When Nick Fuentes says something misogynistic or rude about women, it doesn't feel like it's because he's sexually frustrated and he can't get pussy and that's why he hates women. It sounds like he's saying it because he's disgusted by women. And, he said stuff like having sex with women is gay, and he'll be like, yeah, that's just a joke. Am I right, guys? Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Meanwhile, obviously, just railing against the LGBT community with the most nasty and horrible rhetoric you can possibly imagine. I mean, he's a Nazi. What do you expect? It's nothing all that surprising, really. However, there's also been, you know, little things that have come out, such as him going on dates with gay Nazi cat boys, femboys, and paying for, like, dinner and lunch with them, and you know, just interesting stuff. Oh, the recent thing that happened, this is just a couple weeks ago, Nick Fuentes getting really mad at one of the people in his Graper Gang house, the treasurer of his America First, whatever it is, foundation he has, having sex with a girl, or having a girl over. I don't even think they had sex. And Nick Fuentes came in to scan the room with a black light to check and see if there was any cum residue anywhere in the room that would denote that this guy had had sex with a woman, presumably because Nick Fuentes is sexually attracted to this guy and would not want to have a filthy, disgusting femoid touching his, you know, the cock that belongs to him. The cock that is rightfully his. Listen, okay? When Nick Fuentes goes fully mask off, all right? And I mean fully mask off. What he truly believes is we must secure a future for cock. And I don't fully remember the rest of the Nazi slogan. I was going to specify the Nazi slogan, and it would be really funny, but I only know that we must secure a future for cock. But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, specify, that's what you call it. Anyway, oh, speaking of, Holic I was going to tweet this out publicly, but I'd rather say it on stream, all right? I have like 90% of the lyrics to a sus remix of Engelbert Humperdinck's Man Without Love already like written out in a document, okay? I don't know how well you would be able to imitate his singing style and everything, but if I like tossed you like the lyrics for that and you wanted to sing that and put it up on your channel, you would have my full permission to do so, because I just remember thinking, is there a sus version of that song? Looking it up, seeing there wasn't, and deciding to write a little bit of a sus version of it myself. So yeah, I would love to see that born out into creation. Yeah, DM me? Alright, perfect. The sus remix song would be called A Man Without Cock. Every day I wake up, then I start to jerk off, horny as a man without cock. That's the main chorus, as I've got it right now. Lamau, Jesus fucking Christ, you absolute freak, I love it. Listen, alright, I am a hilarious person, and I love sus remixes of songs, so you better believe that I'm gonna get into the sus remake writing business, alright? It's about time that we get into that. Regardless, though, without divulging us getting into writing Nick Fuentes a theme song, we need to talk about the smoking gun evidence of Nick Fuentes's balled up self-hatred that just came out. Now, unfortunately, unless somebody has a censored version of what he showed on stream, I don't believe I can even show you the image. Does anybody have a censored version I can show that's safe? Oh, my nose do be itching, though. If anybody has, like, a censored version, I will show that. Can you link it? 1 second. Give me that tissue. Why do they stick the tissues together with those little, like, bits? You know, those little bits you have to tear across. It's always, like, a pain in the ass to do it with one hand. So Xanderhal, is it bad form to on Twitter if one of these gripers or quartering chuds tries to do their whole song and dance to remind them that their heroes are into femboys and fendom and are just self-loathing? Yes. Yes, it is. It is funny as fuck. I mean, if anybody has a link to a censored version, I guess I could fucking... I guess I can manually censor it, right? I guess... Yeah, I can manually censor this, I think. Well, no, I can't, because then I can't, like, I can't get the image once I've censored it manually, like both of the images from this post in the thing. God, pain in the ass. Maybe in the replies someone's gotten a censored version? No censored version in the replies. I wish I could show you guys exactly what was shown on stream, on his stream. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and describe it as best I can, okay? All right. Nick Fuentes, owner of Cozy.tv, one of the most popular neo-Nazi figures on the internet and devout Catholic and, self-avowed enemy of the LGBT community. He hates the LGBT community very much. He hates LGBT people. Was streaming from his phone the other day, like actually showing his phone screen. And he ended up doing that thing where, you know how you can, like on your phone, pull the screen down and show the different, like, Google Chrome tabs you've had open on your phone or whatever? He did that. And one of the windows he had open in another tab was of porn. Like, very, very obviously porn. Like, I'm just going to describe it. What you can see in the image is the video's 5 minutes and 28 seconds long. And there's a girl who's fully dressed. She's wearing like a top and like a skirt, sucking off a dude who's got a shirt on and no pants. And that's all you can really see in the this, the bit where he's showing that image. Now, people would have probably thought, oh, Nick Fuentes is just watching, porn or whatever, right? Right? Like, yeah, Nick Fuentes just watching porn. It's straight porn, right? And it is straight porn. However, very quickly, people were able to track down exactly what video it was. And it turns out, let me just tell you what the video was called. T-girl sucking a femboy's dick and then he jerks until cum. That is straight porn. However, I think it should be clear that Nick Fuentes watching T-girl sucking a femboy's dick and then he jerks until cum. Yeah, I think Nick Fuentes might be hiding something from the world, perhaps. And I think in his effort to do so, he may be projecting his hatred. Maybe, potentially. Listen, all right, there is a meme. There is a very specific meme for this scenario, and it's just very accurate, okay? It's just extraordinarily accurate. I'm just going to show this on screen while we talk about this, and probably going to go ahead and take a knife and chop my entire nose off, because it just won't stop itching. I need to get, like, some popsicle sticks and wax my nostrils again. Anyway, yeah. As I've said many times, time and time again, the most virulently anti-LGBT figures are almost always the ones who are projecting something onto another group. In the same way that, like, the people on the right who accuse LGBT people of being groomers and pedophiles generally end up being exposed as groomers and pedophiles themselves. Very good example of this is that one dad from, I think it was like Dakota or something, like one of the Dakotas, like somewhere in the Midwest or some shit like that. He was a conservative, like, anti-LGBT dad, and he'd gone to the school board meeting. Missouri, thank you. He'd gone to a school board meeting to complain about books that were in the public, like the school library, that were I think they were fiction books. Some of them were nonfiction, but they were just, like, about characters that were gay and stuff like that. And he was arguing that it was grooming the children. And, you know, the video of him, you know, went viral. Conservatives showed it around, and he was like a hero, hero dad going up against the corrupt schools. And then a few months later, it turns out he'd raped multiple, like, underage girls. Like, when I say underage, I mean, like, single digits in age. Not like, oh, she was 17 underage. I mean, like, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 5-year-olds. Like, yeah, he was a pedophile. He was raping children, all the while going to school board meetings and screaming about how the LGBT agenda is grooming his child, when in reality, he was, well, I guess you can't groom your own kid. He was molesting his own kid, if I remember correctly. So yeah, that is the type of projection I'm talking about. What about the children that were shot in Texas yesterday? Well, that's for later in the stream. We're talking about that later. It's like the most Muslim conservatives anti-porn countries have the highest porn consumption. Oh, it's like how? Yeah. Like, the more you repress something in society, the more that people are going to flock to it because it seems taboo. Like, admittedly, making something taboo does, for many people, add an element of attractiveness to it on its own. Just saying that you're not supposed to or you can't have something, for a lot of people, seems to have the effect of making them want it, even if they wouldn't have otherwise wanted it. Like just saying you can't have this thing makes you want to pursue it. Yeah, I don't know. It is a real psychological thing. It's reverse psychology. America's so weird about sex. Yeah, it is strange, you know? Like, I know that in Europe, in a lot of European countries, like, when it comes to television and just being in public and stuff, nudity and, like, breasts, stuff like that, just not really that big of a deal. But violence and gore and stuff like that is taken a lot more seriously. While here in America, like, we're super cool with action and violence and gore, but nudity and sex, we're super fucking prude about, to an extent. Like, we're super prude about sex and stuff like that, and super weird about it here in America. But at the same time, like, you go and you look at TV or whatever, you watch, like, a Hardee's commercial where it's a bunch of half-naked women, like, shoving bacon cheeseburgers in their pussies or whatever, you know? Like, we've got a really weird dynamic here in America. You've all seen the Hardee's commercials where it's the hot chicks shoving the burgers in their pussies. You've all seen it. You've all seen it. Hardee's nuts! Got him. Just tweeted you an edited version of the pic. Oh yeah, good. Can I show you the thing that he... Oh no, my notifications are... Can you DM it to me? Can you DM the tweet to me, because I have notifications on only for people that I follow, so I don't get notifications for anything unless I follow somebody. They throw in a 5-minute softcore porn scene and nobody bats an eye, but they show two men kissing for 3 seconds and everyone loses their minds. Exactly. Eggs. Act. Lee. Alright. Allow me to show a censored version of... A little bit of the ball sack still showing, though. I can see a little bit of ball sack here in this image. I'm not sure, like, I feel like there's still a little bit of nutsack you can see if you look really close. Like, maybe, like, not even a square inch, but just a little bit of nutsack. Just a little bit of nutsack you can see. You know what? You know, just to be safe, all right? I'm gonna go ahead and drop, it's just a little screw, Zan. I'm just gonna drop the link to the image into chat, and you guys can go check out the censored version of what our boy Nick was watching, yourself. Listen, all right? Obviously, there's nothing morally wrong whatsoever with Nick Fuentes watching trans or femboy porn or whatever the fuck, right? Obviously. The reason why people are going to be making fun of Nick Fuentes is because he spent a significant amount of his time endlessly railing against LGBT people, talking about how being trans, being gay, whatever, is degenerate and how it makes you subhuman and inherently evil and a bad person. The fat link broken. The link didn't work. Oh, that sucks. Well, damn. Anyway, like, fucking, I'll just show the image here. Removed the nut sack. Let me see. I'll just show the image. Here you go. Here you go. All right. This is the video that Nick Fuentes was watching. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with this, obviously, but it is quite hilarious that Nick Fuentes would be this hypocritical. Caught nice and gooey white-handed, I guess you could say. I'm curious how his community is going to react to this, because here's the thing. Nick Fuentes is going to deny it, no doubt. If he's talked about it yet, he's going to deny it. He's going to claim that, like, oh, it's feds are spreading it or some shit like that. Conservatives or not conservatives, but these Nazi types specifically are very good at deflecting when people call them out for their hypocrisy. They'll claim this is fake. They'll claim it's made up. They won't own it or anything like that. They're not going to make the Graper movement suddenly super progressive. It's... He did delete the post. This is already out, though. People know about it. I don't think he's going to be able to stop it from spreading. What I'm curious about is, do you think this is going to destroy Nick Fuentes' ability to radicalize more people into becoming Grapers? Because, like, the idea of nobody wakes up and is a Graper. Nobody, like, starts off on the internet and gets into politics as a Graper or as a Nazi. You usually start somewhere a little more moderate and you get radicalized through whatever means till you're a little more further in. And with Nick Fuentes, like, being a degenerate, as they say, I feel like that's going to take away a lot from that movement's ability to radicalize people to the super far right. Yeah. TOS? What do you mean? What's TOS? This is fake. Xanderhal, Nick Fuentes can't get off to porn with women in it. The sight of women makes him too angry. Well, the thing is, though, do we really believe that Nick Fuentes thinks trans women are women? Like, that's the question. That's the thing. Listen, I don't really care to speculate on Nick Fuentes' sexuality. It's clear he is not straight. I mean, there's enough evidence of that. The only degree to which I like give a shit about it is the degree to which it is funny to know what it is and call out Nick Fuentes for being a hypocrite. Because Nick Fuentes is like the representative of the far, far, far right online. And the fact that he is repressing his more, I won't say LGBT, but his more sexually non what's the word for it, non-orthodox fetishes and desires indicates to me that his views are coming from a place of shame and self-hatred. And as much as I don't give a shit about Nick Fuentes' feelings or like him being happy or whatever, at the same time, I've gotten so many messages from people unorthodox, like, not common, you know? Right? Didn't I use the word unorthodox, non-conforming, whatever, right? Like Nick Fuentes is more non-traditional sexual desires, as would be implied by this porn here. You know, it indicates the fact that like his hatred is coming from somewhere, and it's probably self-ingrained hatred. I've talked about this for a while, but you have to know your enemy to fight your enemy, right? There are a lot of different types of conservatives. Like, not every bigot is a bigot for the same reason. Some racists are racist because they grew up in an area in which they never met anybody but people of a certain race, and just never being exposed to anybody left them really ignorant. Some people are racist because they found themselves in a community online that brainwashed them with a bunch of race realist statistics, and now they believe in like in eugenics and genocide. Like that, those are two very different types of racism, but they're still racism, right? Like you have to acknowledge that like you have to understand the motivations of your political opponents to know how to combat them. And a significant amount of people in the far right, especially these self-made online political commentators, a lot of them, when they engage in this bigotry, it no doubt is coming from a place of self-hatred and self-loathing, and an attempt to I guess, correct, quote unquote. Pretending to be straight is not correcting, because there's nothing inherently correct about being straight or gay. It's just, they're morally neutral. But in their mind, it would be correct to be straight. So he's essentially overcorrecting, and you know, the projection is obvious to those of us on the left that can see it. But I wonder how many groypers are just like the dozens upon dozens upon dozens of people that have messaged me that are like, hey, I used to be a Nazi, I used to be far right, I used to be an alt-righter, I discovered your content, or I discovered BreadTube, or mostly your content, and after getting like bread pilled and stuff, I realized I was trans, or I realized I was gay, or LGBT, or ace, or whatever, and you know, now I've come out and I'm living and I'm happy and all that, and I really want to thank you. I've gotten dozens of messages like that, and it makes me think, like, I mean, how much more different is that person from somebody like Nick Fuentes, or one of Nick Fuentes's, you know, groyper fans, if they're very similar, you know? It's sad. It's sad to think about. Like, we want to say, haha, Nick Fuentes, fuck you, but at the end of the day, this is somebody who's part of a very marginalized group, who has probably had a very fucked up upbringing and very fucked up line of circumstances that's led to him to the self-loathing and self-hating state that he's in now. And it's sad in a lot of ways, but it doesn't matter that it's sad. Nick Fuentes is still a piece of shit, and his existence on these platforms is still an objective harm. So I'm not trying to suggest you feel bad for Nick Fuentes and go easy on him, though I do think it's worth acknowledging the fact that it is a tragedy that so many young LGBT individuals online are being radicalized to the far right, because their sense of, I guess, shame or embarrassment that their sexuality or gender identity doesn't conform with society has led them to try to find peace and normalcy, I guess you could say, through performative self-hatred. Not performative self-hatred, but performative hatred of what you are. And you know, it's pretty sad. Under other circumstances, we'd say it's a tragedy, but here we laugh at it. But, you know, and it is funny. It is funny, admittedly. We have been laughing, but it's also a tragedy. Much like, life isn't a tragedy, it's a comedy. I don't know. Listen, Nick Fuentes is, in fact, the big gay, all right? And there is nothing wrong with that. I hope only that Nick Fuentes realizes his truth, comes out, sheds the shackles of his insane neo-Nazi mindset, and, like, I don't know, lives on the ocean for like 10 years, becomes like an enlightened monk, and returns to the internet as a based lefty or something, you know? And very, very open about being gay. That's what we need, all right? That would be the ideal timeline. You can't tell me I'm wrong. Regardless, yeah, copium, maybe. Anyway, maybe Hobie Hunter Avalon. Listen, don't hold your breath and don't expect it. I highly doubt that's going to happen, but it would be the ideal scenario. Hard to find Nazi femboys, Nick. Yeah. He needs to go to Femboy Island. Xanderhal, we did help Hunter get out of the right-wing chudness. Listen, okay? It's not gonna happen, but maybe, I don't know. It's very possible this whole thing causes him to basically lose his ability to continue doing what he's doing as a far-right, figure, and potentially he ends up leaving the internet. I feel it's funny because the Grapers are shook over Nick being gay, which is sad. I think this is really only comedic in the sense that his cult is going to have to cope in OD levels. Yeah, OD levels of copium are on the way indeed. That is true. I don't know. It'll either be copium or a full outright turning on him. You know, they'll just outright turn their backs on him and forsake him, and they'll move on to the next edgy, like, Nazi dude that they want to watch. I don't know. With all that said, if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like. It helps the channel out a lot more than you even realize. Both the video, if you're watching it after it's gone up as its own segment, as well as the stream if you're watching live. Dropping a like helps more than you even realize. We're about to cover the Texas school shooting. It's quite tragic, but there's some important stuff to talk about, so stick around for that. But in the meantime, if you want to support me, you can do so by liking the stream or video. You can donate, subscribe, or gift a sub over on my website, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, or Patreon, as well as following my social medias, linked down in the description below. And yeah, thank you so much for your support if you enjoyed this video, and have a good one. We speed ran that outro. God damn, chat. God damn. Can I just say, we've got 665 people here right now. You guys are fucking goated. However, I would like to ask of you a favor. We've got 350 likes on the stream with 600 people watching. I think we can hit 500 likes before we start the next segment. Come on, guys. We're less than 200 away. I know we can hit 500, or sorry, yeah, I know we can hit 500 likes before we start the next segment. Get that shit up. We're almost at 400 already, 395. 400, come on, 100 more, guys. Every like counts. Hell yeah, 412, come on. What pisses me off is Nick is a Kanye fan and is from the Chi-Town? Chi-Town? I don't know. Unlike the video. Don't unlike the video. Finally caught my first Xander stream. Hell yeah, Static Voice. Arm the cannons. 420. We hit 420 and we passed it. Based. Hey, little BBG, I haven't seen you around here. 425, come on, guys, 75 more and we can move on. Let's go. All right, chat. There was something interesting I was going to tell you guys. Fuck. What was it gonna... It just slipped my mind. I can't remember what it was. It was actually kind of interesting. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's about a couple of things involving the Patreon. So, Cherry, very soon, is going to be done with college classes until the winter. Which means Cherry is going to be dedicating themselves to doing just about every day double uploads in the channel, as well as getting the Patreon watch parties uploaded on Patreon, and getting the Demon Mama Xanderhal You Should Log Off podcast started. So that is what is on the horizon right now. We've already got a few episodes of me, Apillo, Ethan, and Balthazar's reaction to Adventure Time. We've already got like the first, I think we got to episode 6 in the show so far. and we're still watching through that, and we're doing sort of like a reaction type Patreon series where we're all like on screen in a call together, and you have to like sync up your legal or however you obtained it copy of the episode, but like there's a way to sync up the times and you can see our reaction at the same time it's playing. A Pillow's seen Adventure Time. I have. Ethan is somewhat hazy on it, but Balthazar is 100,000,000% blind on Adventure Time, so it is hilarious watching them see it and just be so confused because they know a bunch of the pop culture references but don't have anything to connect it to. So they're watching the first we're like 6 episodes in the show and they're like, oh my, what is going on? What the fuck is happening? They did not like the first episode, but as it goes, they're starting to like it more. So we're continuing that. So you definitely want to go follow or pledge on Patreon if you want to see that, because that's Patreon exclusive. And then the You Should Log Off Demon Mama Xanderhal podcast is going to be a weekly podcast that me and Demon Mama do. Every month there will be a Patreon exclusive episode. And I think we'll have we'll probably call it You Should Log Off Premium. And it'll be like its own thing, and there'll be one episode of that per month instead of a normal episode of the podcast, in order to sort of throw in a little bit of an extra little benefit to people who want to pledge on Patreon. But for the most part, every episode of the podcast would be going out on a set date every day of the week, but it would come out probably a day or two earlier for people who are pledged on Patreon. I think that's a good way to do it. I want to really, really encourage people to pledge on Patreon, and I think we should also do the same for website subscriptions. If you're subbed on the website, I think you should get similar advantages to the Patreon as well. Because functionally, it's the same thing, right? I don't know. Maybe. Seems cool. Penny Places, thank you for the 3 tier 1 gifted subs. Thank you for the $15, my friend. I really appreciate that. Extremely kind of you. Says, a small morsel, to be sure, but it will snowball. Thank you. I really appreciate that, and it does snowball indeed. Have I heard of a YouTuber named Manix? The name is vaguely familiar. Manix. I don't know. It sounds vaguely familiar. I think I might have heard of a YouTuber. Maybe I'm thinking of Maddox. I think I might be thinking of someone else. I don't know if I know who Manix is. Thank you for the $25, though. Or, we're at 25 now. Will you be doing a Kenobi Discord watch party? Potentially, yeah, maybe. I dare you to watch Miraculous Ladybug. I've never heard of that. All right, chat, come on. Let's push this. Let's push these likes. These are rookie numbers. 446 out of 500. Come on. There's over 120 more of you here than likes I'm asking for on the stream. Come on. I know you've got it in you. Ah. You can only ever reach 500 asymptomatically? Or wait. Asymptotically. I've never heard of that word before. Interesting. More content. Let's go! I'll be the stream if you say that. I'll like the stream if you say what your favorite color is. My favorite color is black, honestly. It used to be green. When I was very young, it was green. And then as I got older, it was blue, like a dark blue. And then as I got quite a bit older, it was like a very light blue, like sort of a turquoise. And now as I've gotten a lot older, it's like sort of a black-white mix, like monochrome, sort of black and white. Look at the aesthetic of my branding, and that should be pretty clear. Look at the colors in my room. I like gray, black, and white. You know? It's my ideal, you know? Look at what I'm wearing. I'm wearing black right now. I'm goth, one might say. Without trying, though. not trying to be. I just like wearing black. Black isn't a color, like you're not even an art major. Black is a color. Shut up. If you want, my source is that I made it the fuck up. Colors are socially constructed. It's true. I know that in like in certain countries they don't distinguish between like blue and green. And it's like, yeah, I can understand why. Or no, maybe it's like certain greens they think of as like a shade of blue, and certain blues they think of as a shade of green, because it's like, and I can get it, you know, like, yeah, okay, I can see how like a lime green could be a shade of blue, if you go by it, you know, sure, okay, I guess. Chainsaw Chimera, thank you for the $5. As I wish to share with you a powerful and uplifting story. Well, thank you for the $5. Let's check it out. Favorite color, go. Let's see what the most popular favorite color is in here. It would appear that purple is winning. Purple won, with green as a close second. Interesting. Purple and green are the most popular colors in my chat, it would seem. I once saw a video about how the names of colors always appear in the same order as the language progresses. That shit is mad interesting. Very weird. Isn't cyan just a different shade of blue? Yes, it is. Mint green? Mint green is pretty good. I like mint green. Mint green's good. Hey, chat, what do we think of mint green? I think it's nice. All right, what's the like count at? Let's see. 492, 8 more. Come on, guys. 8 more likes. I know you can do this. I believe in you. And then we can start the next segment. I believe. I believe. Check Discord. Okay. All right, 1 second, chat. All right, you can come get it. Just one.
Okay. I will be right back. Oh, you turn off the thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Thank you. Booba. I love you too. Booba. People use studies like Pokemon cards, and personally I think black is a color. True! I made it the fuck up, and I choose to believe black is a color. The best color, my favorite color, and screw anyone who disagrees. Alright. Thank you, Chainsaw Chimera. I appreciate the $5. Let's see this this video.
Shimmy chain.
Y'all better stop taking a shit together, because last time y'all took a shit, I had to wipe it off the ceiling. And what the fuck y'all think I am? Y'all bitch and shit?
That's a 9-minute video, I'm sorry. Okay. Alright, we're at 513 likes. Let's fucking go. That's what I was looking for. Alright. Alright. Listen. This is a bit of a... Three, 2, 1, action. So, yesterday there was another shooting. I don't believe that this shooting was perpetuated by somebody who was motivated by far-right political shit or anything like that. I don't think it was like a Nazi or a Nazgul or a super far-right person. I don't think there's been a manifesto posted on 4chan or anything. It was just a good old-fashioned American school shooting, and it happened over in Texas, not all that far away from my lovely state of California. We do have a lot of these school shootings down here in the South. 19 children and 2 adults were killed, and it was quite the tragedy. And, you know, obviously this is just following the Buffalo shooting that happened a few days ago. Obviously this has led to a shit ton of talk about gun rights. Personally, I am pretty pro-gun. I can't deny the fact that the data overwhelmingly suggests that gun control. Now, this gun control does not mean all the guns are taken away, confiscated, banned, all of that. Gun control does seem to have a significant, impact on gun-related homicides, suicides, just deaths in general, and injuries around guns in general are significantly stemmed in the overwhelming amount of data that I've seen about the gun issue. But at the same time, hear me out. I like guns, and that's about it. I still do like guns, and I do think that, like, Americans should probably have the right to own guns. I just think that there are probably certain changes we could make here in America to help reduce the chances of things like this happening. But at the same time, there's also the fact that the gun thing is kind of a weak issue for the left. Like, I think for a long time now, Democrats have had the gun issue as one of their weaknesses because it's sort of one of these things where Republicans can sort of claim that Democrats are these authoritarians trying to take away your freedom. And arguably, when it comes to the gun thing, they are. It's one of those cases where, like, morally, you could probably make a strong case that strong gun control would be the right course of events to go in this country. But at the same time, it seems to be political suicide. It's one of the things that have held the Democrat Party back in many respects, how hard they go against guns. I mean, a lot of people who would otherwise probably vote Democrat if they weren't so anti-gun would probably vote Democrat. It's a complicated issue, and when you're weighing the lives of children and political suicide, it gets even more complicated. I'm not the person to go to on the answer to this. I think a more sensible take on gun control is definitely an easy answer, but probably not the only one, and probably not the best one. So regardless, we're going to go ahead and read this article, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. The limits to school security become clear as parents demand answers after Texas shooting. The Texas school shooting has prompted questions among Los Angeles area parents about the school security measures that could prevent similar violence on their children's campuses. School officials tried to be reassuring, explaining how they work to keep children safe, but they could not make ironclad pledges. Moments like these force us as educators to reevaluate our safety measures, said Gudiel Crosthwaite, superintendent of the Linwood Unified School District. As more information becomes available, we will collaborate with local authorities to reevaluate our safety measures and protocols and make the necessary adjustments. Kids and staff should not worry about their personal safety at school. He added, after these types of incidents, anxiety increases and everyone wants a police officer at a school. But that alone will not solve nor stop these incidents. Our country has a long, troubled history with guns in schools, and we have to raise our kids differently and hold elected officials and gun companies accountable because they too are responsible for the loss of life. Here is more of what school officials and experts have to say. There is broad agreement that prevention is the best tool. This can take the form of see something, say something campaigns and enhanced counseling and anti-bullying efforts. School officials often point to steps that could be taken outside of education, including gun control laws and background checks for gun purchases. Solutions preferred from the political right include arming teachers. Okay, listen. The arming teachers thing is so fucking dumb. I'm sorry, like, I feel like it could be done feasibly, like, in a way that's responsible and good, but, like, don't you think we've gone a little too far to preserve gun rights if we're at the point where it's like, now our teachers are literally armed and ready for like a massacre to occur at the school at any given time, you know? Like, this isn't happening in other countries. At a certain point, it's like, do we Americans really think we're that special? We are special in some ways, depending on how you use that word. But do we really think our country is that special? Chad W. special. Law enforcement is typically the last line of defense. Investigators often track social media. Having officers on campus has sparked much debate. Researchers cite examples where officers have contributed to a negative school climate, but other experts say that well-trained officers who nurture positive relationships and support counseling efforts can have a positive impact. How safe are schools? Schools are likely safer than many places that people gather, including stores, markets, street fairs, and other outdoor public events. At schools, staff members pay close attention to strangers and stay alert for people who don't belong on campus. There's also attentiveness to employees and students who appear to be struggling with mental health issues. In addition, campuses are generally locked up places, especially in Southern California. At many campuses, doors are locked for most of the school day. Officials repeatedly assert that schools are safer than the surrounding community. Campuses are supposed to be safe havens from bullying and threats on the inside. Much progress has been made in recognizing the seriousness of bullying and taking action to prevent it, said Professor Ron Aviastor, an expert in school violence at UCLA's Luskin School of Pacific Affairs. He noted that it's difficult to measure how much violence has been prevented, both in terms of bullying and its repercussions. Do schools have campus police officers to protect them? In general, the answer is no. The nation's second largest school system, Los Angeles Unified, has had the second largest police force in the country, but is always spread thin on a school-by-school basis. You know, when I was in middle school, we had like 2 or 3 police officers. They were never usually on campus all at the same time, unless like maybe one of them would be like in the office at all times. But like there was always this one lady cop that had a gun, you know, on her hip, you know, walking up and down the lunch aisle, you know, while we're eating. And we'd look at this, you know, gun on this cop's hip as she walks like a foot away from us. And she's got this loaded gun on her hip. And me and my friends would be like, all right, I bet you my bag of chips, or I dare you my bag of chips to grab the gun off her holster. Thank God none of us ever had the balls to go through with it. Jesus Christ. A bag of chips would not have been worth what an American cop would have done to me if I'd try to do that shit. Best case scenario, I get pistol whipped. The high school I graduated from has had 3 cars crash into it in the past 5 months in different spots in the school. Jesus Christ. You would have died, Zan? Yeah, probably. Now 2 bags of chips on the other hand. Listen, they were sun chips too. They were the sour, like, green sun chips. Those are my favorite. So if it was 2 bags, I fear to think what I would have done if it was 2 bags I'd been offered, frankly. I do. I fear to think. Listen, this is one of those issues that has caused lefty Twitter in particular to fucking explode. And the discussion around stand your ground laws and whether or not it's morally permissible to shoot somebody who either is a threat to you, a threat to your property, etc., has also kind of fractured off of this issue. So of course I'm gonna have to talk about that. So let me start by telling you guys my positions and where they come from, okay? I think that the American government that I, you know, pay taxes to and, you know, abide by the laws of and live inside the borders of and was born in and have my fucking documentation to, you know, affirm that I am in fact a citizen of the United States. I believe that as a citizen of the United States, that I should be guaranteed a certain level of ease, or sorry, not ease, mental easement, I guess, I don't know, some level of sureness, like being sure that I am not going to be ruthlessly slaughtered while I'm out on the street. It's not a given that it won't happen. Some comfort, like, yeah, some peace of mind that it won't happen. But, like, I'm not at 100% on guard, ready for somebody to, like, engage in a slaughter while I'm walking down the street, because there's cops a couple blocks away. They've got guns. Everybody knows that's the case, and that does have a deterring factor in many cases, and it also has a comforting factor, right? If you knew there weren't any cops anywhere in the city, and you knew that everybody else knew that was the case, you'd probably be a little bit more on your guard walking down the street, even a nicer place, because somebody could just decide to start their big massacre right then and there, and just, you know, well, it's gonna be a while till the cops show up. I expect to have that certain level of safety assured, and I also expect to have my rights ensured by that very same entity that is the United States government. Part of those rights are having the right to a firearm. Now, many people argue the Second Amendment was written back when we had flintlock pistols, muskets, and cannons, and, like, I guess you could say puckle guns. I guess we did have those, which are kind of like a automatic gun, but come on, like, I wouldn't. I think calling a puckle gun a machine gun, you know, comparable to today would be a stretch. You know, people make an argument that the founding fathers couldn't have possibly predicted the level of firepower the average American would have at their disposal. You know, if the Second Amendment continued to stay as it is into the future, there is that argument. There were Gatling guns. Didn't Gatling guns not come along until, like, the 1800s, though? I'm pretty sure that Gatling guns were an 1800s invention. The puckle gun was, like, a very early, like, Gatling gun type cannon. The Gatling gun was invented in 1863. See? I know my fucking history. I played Red Dead Redemption, all right? Both games. And Undead Nightmare. Zan, guns didn't get that more deadly since back... Guns didn't get that more deadly since back then. I mean, like, to give you an idea of what guns were like at that time, the way warfare was done was, like, you lined up in big fucking lines, and you, out in the open, you shot at each other, because guns were so inaccurate and created so much smoke, took so long to reload, and were just so hard to hit your target that it was like... Honestly, yeah, stand out in the open in big fucking, you know, alignments and shoot at each other. And wear big, bright colors so you can tell each other apart. That was how warfare was done back then. You know, a lot of it had to do because firearm technology was very primitive. However, I do still think it's important for us to have that right, because I do think... You know, like being able to hunt, being able to protect yourself, things like that, it's important. Guns are always going to be out there, and there will always be criminals who have their hands on them, especially after how many centuries of gun ownership and gun production have existed here in America, how many centuries of illegal gun circulation have existed here in America. I find it pretty unlikely that we'd be able to 100% get rid of all guns. So I think it's somewhat reasonable to think that, like, yeah, the Americans being able to own some type of firearm is reasonable. And I think if you disagree with that, then there's a conversation there, but you're very much unfun. You're very, very much not fun. And then we got to talk about the right to kill somebody in self-defense with your gun. If somebody breaks into your house and they've got a weapon or whatever, and you feel threatened, and you've got your gun in your hand, and you shoot them dead, or somebody shoot, you know, let's say this is somebody in this scenario, they shoot that invader dead. Do you agree with that morally? Do you think that's fine? That should be good? I think it should be, yes. I think it should be. I'm in favor of this. I'm in favor of, like, castle doctrine law, like, where you can protect your home, like, protect yourself if you feel threatened, even if it's lethally, and you've got, like...
Welcome to capitalism.
You can reasonably expect that person to feel life-threatened in that scenario. I understand that policy has led to some questionable judgments in the past, but if that is how it goes... genuinely, then I'm okay with that. I think morally that's okay. Here's another one. This is another one that's gotten a lot of people talking. Is it morally okay, for example, if somebody breaks into my house, grabs my computer right here, this is the thing that I use for my job, this is how I pay my bills and buy my food, it's literally the #1 and basically only source of income for like my household almost. Like it's that's my job right there on that computer. So if someone comes in, breaks into my house and is in like the process of stealing it and is like running out the door, and I come home and I catch them running away, do I then have permission to shoot them as they're running away? Honestly, I'd say yes. Morally, I'd say yes. Even if you're not life-threatened, I do. Like, I can't, with a straight face, say that I'd expect that I can, like, tell someone, let somebody just steal your shit, your livelihood, you know, just run away with your livelihood, you know, while you're holding a gun and can prevent that. I can't really, like... say that you should expect someone to do that, you know? Like, you're stealing someone's livelihood. Does the person robbing you have a weapon on them or not? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You can't tell. If someone's robbing you, you can't tell if they have a weapon on them or not. If someone's robbing you, assume they have a weapon on them. Do not even for a second consider whether or not they have a weapon. They're armed. Someone's robbing you, they're armed. As far as you should know or care. But can't you buy another one? It's replaceable, though. Not if it is your literal income, okay? Not if it is your income. I think that there are certain things that if somebody is stealing it from you, if it is literally the way through which you are able to allow yourself to pay bills and survive, then stealing it or taking it from you, like if a thief does that, is not that far away from trying to inflict bodily harm on you. And you can morally probably murk them. I would agree if it is literally irreplaceable. No, you guys are wrong. I'm sorry. When it is literally somebody's source of income, it's a pretty big deal. You guys might be thinking, oh, well, insurance, oh, you can get it replaced, oh, they'll pay for it. Like, come on. Come on. Like, that's not always going to be the most reliable way to go about things. You're not always going to be fully reimbursed for your computer that you got stolen, okay? Like, do you think, like, if this computer got stolen and I, like, reported the fucking theft to the police and I was like, yeah, it's got a RTX 2080 Ti and a Ryzen 9 3900X and it goes for this right now, but it went for that then. I've got the receipts, but, like, they'd be like, so you're telling me that computer was $5,000? Like, yeah? I'd be like, give you $400. Thanks. I'll get $400 out of it. Or shoot the guy and take my computer back. That's the thing. Listen, it's a moral conundrum. I think it's sort of a case-by-case basis type thing, but
Welcome
if
to
somebody
capitalism,
told me they shot the guy that was stealing their streaming computer, and their streaming computer is how they pay their bills and, like, make sure they aren't gonna be homeless the next month, like, I'm not gonna end the friendship and say they're a bad person is all I'm saying, okay? That's just my personal take. And then we get to, like, the very interesting one, which is is it okay to shoot somebody simply on the moral justification of they're stealing from you? So, like, for example, someone comes along and steals, like, your sandwich. Can you shoot them for, and is, like, running away from it? Can you shoot them for that? And it's like, my reflex answer is no. But I've also heard people make pretty compelling arguments that, like, why? They're stealing from you. They're taking your property away. They're invading your consent and your privacy. Why can't you defend yourself? And it's like, over a sandwich, though? I think the example was a sandwich. It's like a life for a sandwich, and it's like, you paid for that sandwich. That's your food. Someone is stealing your food from you, and it's like, my property is not worth taking a life? Yeah, I don't know. This is a shoplifting argument, though. Depends on how hungry you are, I guess, yeah. I think we have to, I think we have to think about this in a more, like, human emotions way, right? Would you end a friendship with somebody if they told you, somebody broke into my house and was stealing my laptop? Like, they're not a streamer or anything, it's just their laptop, they play video games or whatever. Somebody broke into their house and stole their laptop, and they came home to this, and they had their gun on them, I don't know, their concealed carry. They walk in on this thief, like, breaking out through the window, you know, and they shot and killed that thief and took their laptop back. Police came, you know, went through the whole process or whatever. Your friend tells you this story. Would you end your friendship with that friend? Would you be like, oh my God, you're a bad person. That was morally indefensible. We're not friends anymore. Hypers, if you would end that friendship if they told you that story. And, you know, they stood by the action. They were like, I mean, I'm sad I had to do it, but I had to do it. Would you end the friendship? I'm curious. I wouldn't. I think there's, like, different tiers of, like, moral condemnation we can give something, right? Like, on one level, we can say, like, oh, that's pretty cringe, bro. Like, okay, you did something that kind of makes you an asshole, but it's not too bad, right? And then you've got, like, okay, you're a real asshole. Like, come on. And then you've got, like, whoa, you did that? I mean, I'm not gonna stop being friends with you or anything, but, like, it's pretty fucking crazy, dude. And then you've got, like, okay, I'm not cool with hanging out with you after hearing about what you've done. And then when you get to the very top of the list, it's like, okay, I'm calling the police. Like a gun that stuns the thief long enough to get the stuff back and throw them out? That is not a thing. Okay, I'm sorry. We can't talk about, like, the way that people on the left try to advise police to do, like, to handle gun-related scenarios. Like, it's hilarious when I hear, like, a left-wing person who's clearly never shot a gun in their life say, well, why doesn't the cop just shoot the guy in the arm when he's about to stab the lady instead of shooting him in the chest? And it's like, or shoot him in the leg. And it's like, yeah, or yeah, hit him with the taser instead. Shoot the knife out of his hand. Curve the bullet. Yeah, a lot of people, like, literally have all of their knowledge about this comes from video games and movies, and then they'll, like, proudly announce what they think police ought to be doing in those scenarios in the chat. Like, they think they know anything about it, and they very clearly don't. When you're in a scenario like this, when it is life and death, and you know, somebody is going to die, you shoot to kill. If you're going to shoot somebody or anything, you're shooting to kill it. You're never firing, you're never shooting a gun at something that you don't intend to kill. If you're shooting a gun at something you don't intend to kill, then you're using the wrong weapon. Guns are lethal weapons, and they're to be used on targets you intend to kill. You shouldn't even have your finger on the trigger while it is pointing at something unless you intend to shoot it. And you shouldn't be shooting anything that's alive unless you plan to make it unalive. So if you're ever going to be in a life or death scenario, you shoot the person who is going to be causing death to happen, and you aim for center mass, the most likely place to hit, and the least likely area for, like, a bullet pass through or a winged shot or anything, or a miss that could hit somebody or anything like that. Why are you justifying killing people? Because sometimes killing people can be justified. Are you fucking stupid? Are you fucking stupid? Like that scenario where that one kid was like killing the other kid and like stabbing her with the knife, and the cop shot the girl that was stabbing the other girl with the knife. There was literally no other thing the cop could have done there. People were like, taser, taser, taser. Have you ever seen a crazed person continue to attack someone through a taser? I've seen hundreds of videos of crazed people continue to stab or beat someone while being tased, all right? Taser was not the option there. Pulling out the gun and preventing the innocent girl from getting stabbed to death was the option there. And yes, it was through lethal shots, all right? Real life is not a fucking John Wick movie, all right? You don't aim for headshots. You don't shoot people in the leg to get them down and then shoot them in the head to take them out. You don't like shoot someone in the arm or shoot the knife out of their hand or whatever. You aim for the chest, center mass, and you aim to kill. You shoot to kill, all right? That's how it goes. And when it's the case of like someone trying to murder an innocent person, then yeah, I think it's justified for the cop to kill the person trying to actively murder the other person. In that scenario that I just brought up, yeah. And tons of lefties will have dumb takes about it. I feel like acting like there is no justifiable reason to shoot people or defend yourself is some lib shit. It is not lib shit, it's lefty shit. It's baby lefty shit. If you caught someone raping your little sister or your little brother and you can't tell me, you wouldn't ask them nicely to stop, pretty sure you would just kill? Exactly. Like if you just walked in on like some dude like sexually assaulting your girlfriend or something and you had a gun on you, you'd shoot without even hesitating. You wouldn't be like, hey, get off of her, and then call the police. Come on, fucking, let's be real. It's also worth considering human emotion, right? Like even legally, we consider human emotion. We distinguish between a crime that's like very clearly like, you know, planned out and devised and like premeditated, and a crime of passion where it's like, you know, you freaked out, blacked out, and you woke up in just a puddle of blood, you know? Like we distinguish between those things legally even. I can see someone doing that in the heat of the moment, but after the fact, you can analyze that it wasn't the right choice. That is no different, though. Dreb Mebin, that is not too different in my mind than when, like, some gamer bro says to a girl who says that she got sexually assaulted on Twitter, well, why didn't you do this, this, or that? Well, you should have known that would happen because you did that. Or, oh, you should have, why were you wearing this? Or why were you walking around this side of town at this time of night alone? Like, it just sounds like saying, well, you should have done that, that, and that to somebody who shot somebody who's probably traumatized about having to take a life. I don't know, it just sounds like victim blaming. Because you are the victim of something if you had to, like, shoot somebody in self-defense. It's a little different than victim blaming sex victims, Zan. Well, it's different in, like, how it looks and sounds, but the thought process is the same. The same thought process that drives random people online to be like, well, you should have done this, this, and this. It would have been so much better, is the same, like in this scenario when there's, like, a shooting, even though the person who did the shooting was probably, like, filled with nerves and only thinking about, I need to save an innocent life right now. Very easy for you to say when you're not the one holding the gun. It's very similar to when people say, well, you could have done this, this, and this to prevent yourself from getting sexually assaulted or raped, when it's like, well, she was scared. It's very easy to say she could have said no, just like it's very easy to say he could have just shot for the arm, you know? Like it's a similar mindset that the people who tend to be like, well, you could have just done this, this, or that, right? Tons of people on the internet want to be the snarky asshole who tells someone what they could have done otherwise to make their situation better, to demonstrate how much smarter they are than the person who's expressing their misfortune. Destiny has a particularly bad case of this. Would you kill someone for a $5,000 PC? My $5,000 PC? Yeah, probably. I'll admit that I, do what to? Do that kind of thing too? Oh, like, be the snarky asshole? Yeah, some people do that. Guns are impractical? Not really, no. They're actually very good. Zan's sociopath arc? I'm sorry, but if my computer gets stolen and I get reimbursed $400 for it, my career is over. So, yeah. Would I shoot somebody to save that's broken into my house and stolen my property and threatened me, my girlfriend, and my cat's lives, potentially, to save my career? Yeah, I'd shoot them, yes. Absolutely. 100%. On God. You value your career over their life? Yes, I value my career over their life. I absolutely value my career over the life of the person who's broken in my house to steal my computer. Like, yeah, no shit. Why should I value that person's life at all? Now he's in your house, not running away. Okay, let's say in all of the examples that I've established where, like, I'm not in danger and something is being stolen, the thief is literally walking out the back door with my property in their hands. And I've got like a shot to their back. That's like the scenario here. I take that shot, yeah. Now then again, what if he drops the computer? I'd shoot and I'd say, please fall down as gently as you can. That'd be the last word he ever hears. Please, while life is leaving your body, please try to fall and drop the computer as gently as possible. Would be the last thing he'd ever hear. And hopefully, he'd abide by it. I don't know. Do you hear yourself right now, Xanderhal SMH? Just enjoy the fucking bit, okay? Enjoy the bit. Listen, chat. Fall backwards. Use your body to cushion the computer's fall. Oh, God. Listen, okay. A lot of this is a bit, and I'm just joking with you guys, but you gotta take streamers less seriously sometimes. But to get more seriousness, I do think there is absolutely moral grounds in which you can use lethal force to protect your own private property. And I think there are even good arguments to make that even if that private property isn't something you need to survive, even if losing that property is far from being anything close to a death sentence, you know? I don't know, you know? It's a complicated issue, and it's one of those philosophical things. It's like, the reason why theft exists in our society to the degree it does in the first place on its own is an issue that, like, we have to worry about, because, like, functionally right now, the way that laws exist to allow people to use lethal defense to protect their property and their lives, usually not their lives, usually their property. Typically it's like property defense. Typically these lethal forces select for, you know, due to the fact that we're talking about crime, people who are in more economically fucked situations. So when you make laws that expand the ability for people to kill a criminal who's, like, broken into their house and is, like, you know, stealing their stuff, you're basically creating laws that are going to intrinsically increase the rate at which poor people that are, like, committing crime to, like, get by are going to be killed. And that's a concern on its own, but I feel like that's a concern that can be counterbalanced by other separate policies that help to alleviate the need to turn to crime in order to, like, make ends meet. You don't need a $5,000 rig to stream. If I was just doing, like, politics streams, maybe, but, like, I have to do thumbnails and edit and render and play video games and stream at the same time. Like, 60 or 70, I'd say, % of the games that I stream, I wouldn't be able to stream while playing at the same time without a computer this good. So, yeah, you do need a $5,000 rig to stream certain things, yeah. Yeah, like if someone's stealing a truck and it's like let's say you're a trucker and it would take you months to get your truck replaced if it got stolen, and like someone's stealing your truck and that's your job, you absolutely have the right to shoot that guy as he's driving off with it. Yeah, I think so. That's an example. That's a really good example, Hungry Moose. Yeah. That's your livelihood. That truck is your livelihood. That's your job. Even if you're not even in the slightest bit of physical danger at that moment as he's driving away with it, you know, if you hit him and you shoot him, I think you're morally justified. Your business you took out a loan on. Listen, all right? Even if it could be replaced the next day, I think in that moment, you can still make a case for that person to just pop that guy. I don't know. That's my position. What if this person is stealing to pay for their life-saving treatment or the treatment of their child? The person shooting them doesn't know that. Wait, AlexMex90, you understand that when we judge the actions of somebody morally, we consider them from the perspective of the person who did the action. You can't... When you're in court, if you've ever listened to like lawyers talk in court, like a defense attorney, for example, they'll talk about what someone could reasonably suspect or reasonably believe from their perspective, because like not everybody in a scenario is a completely informed, logical actor. You only know what you know, and just all the guy that shot the guy stealing his truck knows is that somebody is stealing his truck, and that's what he drives for a living, right? He doesn't know it's being stolen to pay for his daughter's life-saving surgery. Like, I feel really bad for the guy who gets shot in that scenario, and if I heard that story, I'd be like, damn, that sucks. I wish the guy hadn't shot him. I wish he'd gotten away and was able to pay. But at the same time, it's like, but I can't morally judge the guy who shot him. He didn't know that. I think on a moral and legal level, there's worth in judging what the person who did the action that we're judging the morals of knew from their perspective reasonably, what they could have known and what they did know. To be clear, I should also say, you should, even if you're a gun owner, you should always hope that you never, ever, ever have to use your gun on somebody. Like, that's the last thing you should ever want to happen. There's a really big problem with people that are pro-gun and pro, like, you know, self-defense, pro-castle doctrine, pro-defending your property, whatever, with this, like, I wish someone would attitude, and that's, I think, very unhealthy. When they have the I wish someone would attitude, that's when it's like... I think your motivations aren't entirely pure. Or your attitude on this issue is immature at the very least. There's so much of that. Yeah. Like, if you want to be excited to use your gun, get excited to use your gun to go hunting or go shooting at the shooting range or something. You shouldn't be excited to use your gun to shoot somebody in self-defense, you know? And a lot of people have that, like, hero mindset, I think, and it's, I don't know. Just buy a shotgun and use birdshot, a lot less likely to kill anyone with that than a normal gun round. Nah, listen, I'm sorry. That's also, like, fantasy talk, all right? A birdshot shotgun... If you're shooting someone, as I said, you are shooting to kill, not to maim, all right? You're not shooting to fucking maim with a birdshot shotgun, okay? Are you fucking kidding me? For one, a birdshot shotgun can kill, okay? If I shot you from 5 feet away in the face with 22 with 22 birdshot, you're not going to have a face anymore, functionally, afterwards, okay? And you're gonna die, most likely. All right, I've shot rats with a 22 air rifle so many times, and I've seen what it does. It goes through them and hits the drywall. If one 22 air rifle pellet goes through a rat's head or through a rat's entire body and gets stuck in the drywall afterwards, a fucking shotgun 22 is gonna kill the target, okay? Or maim it. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about getting a 22 birdshot shotgun to use on people that are potentially breaking into your home, to potentially, like, not kill them, because if you don't kill them, you're maiming the fuck out of them. Like, okay, stop with these fantasies. Guns are lethal weapons. You do not use guns on a human being without the intent of killing them. Stop your fucking childish fantasies. Guns are lethal weapons. When you shoot a gun at a living thing, it is to make it unalive, all right? Stop suggesting fucking 22 shotgun. Like, stop suggesting, like, fucking fantasy scenarios in which you can, like, incapacitate non-lethally this, like a ninja or like an action movie hero, this invader to your home. Come on, just stop it. Stop it. Grow up. But how do I maim someone in self-defense? This is a genuine question. I cannot and don't want to kill anyone. Do you have any ideas? Please help. I'm struggling. I don't know. Like, think about it like this. Who remembers that story about the couple who set up the shotgun traps in their house for the return burglars that would break into their house? And they broke in and just the shotgun traps went off and blew their kneecaps out. They lived, but they lived the rest of their lives horrifically maimed. Because instead of a lethal shooting, they instead set up fucking shotgun traps that were at shin level to blow out the legs of whoever walked by. Non-lethal, maiming, and got the job done of stopping the story, left them permanently scarred and permanently unable to live their lives normally, though. Oh, and they got away with it, too. The couple that set up the shotgun trap like it was fucking rust won the lawsuit as well. Listen, okay? Things get nasty when people try to use guns in the way they're not supposed to be used, okay? Guns were made for a purpose. Use them for what they're meant to be used for. Things tend to get nasty when you use guns for purposes they're not meant to be used for, okay? More nasty than intended, I should say. Get one of these for home defense.
Alright, Anzio 20.
Wait, can I show you what I want to get for home defense? This is what I'm gonna get for home defense. Oh, by the way, I played a few games of Tarkov with FPS Russia a couple months ago. It was pretty fun. He taught me how to play the game and gave me some of my best gear that I still have in the game right now. He gave me a few of like the best bags in the game, some of the best guns, and I was just like, I'm not good enough yet to take any of these out into the field, so I just still have them back in my stash in Tarkov right now. This is what I want for home defense.
Depp is Russia, and I've got something very nice for you today. This is a 40mm Boffer. It's an Austrian-made World War II era gun, and it's actually the most powerful machine. I'm
sorry to break this all to you. He's not actually Russian. His name is actually Kyle Myers, and he's a Georgia boy. Corn-fed Georgia boy, born and raised.
Machine gun in the world that is
He's just very good at accents and impressions.
Feeling can own, operational in the way, and one of the cool things, every time you take a look at this, you get an appreciation of just how powerful the gun is. It fires a 4-pound projectile at 2,800 feet per second, so it's a little bit more powerful than what we're used to using. What I really like about this gun is you can either operate it manually or you've got the toggle switch here, so check this out.
Listen, I think it's a little loud to have inside the house, but I think the noise will help to deter any potential invaders. It's almost as loud as a PS4 Pro's fans. Best gaming chair.
So what you basically have here is the world's most powerful video game. You operate here, you fire over here, and everything down there is very, very bad day. So now let's shoot it. Okay, so we've got some targets set up down there, and I think we're going to hit it. So let's see what we can do.
It's like thunder.
Okay, so now we're going to see what this gun can really do. We're going fully automatic.
Fully automatic, here we go. This is the fun part.
Fire in the hole!
This is for home defense.
Okay, so now we've got our 40mm boffer aimed at our mannequin who's wearing
How do you get this stuff? It's America. For the love of God, tell me this is not part of the segment. Oh, it is.
some FPS show gear, by the way.
We're about to end it, though, don't worry.
I don't think this could end well for anyone. So,
yeah, this would have made hunting those rats a lot easier. It's just gone. Gone. Reduced to atoms.
not bad. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video, my friends. As always, please favorite the video, it helps a lot.
Back when favoriting was a thing on YouTube, God. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking about getting for home defense personally. What do you guys think? Go ahead and comment down below your opinion on what you think of my idea for firearm right now for home defenses, and you know, I'm interested in hearing what you guys think. Hopefully, the people that own this apartment complex are cool with it, and it's gonna be hard to fit, but I think it can probably fit in here. You know, I've got like, I feel like if I clear out an area, I can fit it in here, and you know, it doesn't really matter what room it's in. If I generally know the direction where the intruder is, like the general direction of what room the intruder is in, I think if I just fire where I hear the noise coming from, I don't think any walls or anything like that are gonna matter. I think it'll get the job done, and it'll keep my family nice and safe. Really got to make sure my home is safe. Anyway, yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to drop a like, both in the stream if you're watching live right now as we speak, and if you're watching this video as it goes up as its own segment after the fact. And of course, if you want to see more from me, please consider subscribing, gifting a sub, or even, you know, donating over on my website, xanderhal.com/live, or supporting me on YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, and Patreon. And if you want to see more from me here on the internet, you can also follow my social media, all linked down below, including my Instagram, TikTok, fan Discord, and I think I also have an Instagram, yeah. With all that said, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Have a good one. Yeah. It's gonna open up your door too. Yeah, it's gonna give us more of an open floor plan, I think, if I got that. All right, hey chat, before we move on to the Amber Heard stuff, the Amber Heard Johnny Depp stuff, is it okay if we watch some more? Am I going to cover Destiny cringe? What did Destiny do? I almost want to watch a couple more classic FPS Russia videos. Because, God, this channel went so fucking hard. This is still the best gun channel on YouTube. No one is yet to top FPS Russia, and these videos are all 10 years old. At their youngest. I want to find where he shot some insane stuff. What are his, most popular? .12-gauge Dragon's Breath. This is called 12-gauge Dragon's Breath.
Hello, my friends. This is FPS Russia
Damn.
again, and I've got a nice video for you today. I have a few volunteers for this one. I've got Jerry and I've got Mike. And
Magic
they're
Mike,
going
look
to
more
help me
like.
show off some specialty 12-gauge shotgun rounds. I've got my Remington 887 here. Got a nice little paint job on that, and so we've got some flechette rounds.
That is the most ridiculous paint job I've seen on a gun. I actually thought it was a toy gun. It's one of those things where, like, you know how when you're like a kid, people are always saying like, oh, be really careful. If you ever find a gun out in the park or whatever, be very careful. Even if it looks like a toy gun, it could be real. And it's like, okay, but when are you ever going to... who's painting guns like to look like toy guns and hiding them in parks for kids to find? Where is that actually happening? And it's like, well, if you put this out in a park, I feel like a kid would pick it up and think it's a toy gun.
Which are tiny darts. We've got Dragon's Breath rounds, which are actually shoot fire at the target.
That actually happened to me once, though. I found a fucking Spider-Man, I'm pretty sure it was like Spider-Man. It was blue, not too far off from the color scheme of this gun, ironically enough, but it was like Spider-Man web themed, like a gun in a tree, like in a neighborhood, on Thanksgiving after dinner. We were on like a family walk, and my uncle obviously knew a lot about guns and found it. Was like, I'm gonna take that and we're gonna put it in a plastic bag, and tomorrow I'm gonna call the police non-emergency number and turn this thing in. And I was like, okay. But yeah, I ended up finding that, so I guess it does happen, yeah.
Bolo round, so it's 2 large balls with a steel cable in between, and I think these guys are going to have a very, very bad day. So let's get started. Okay, so the first round we're going to use is the flechette round. It's about 12 or 15 tiny steel darts in each shell, and I think our friend's going to have a bad day.
You can see.
Okay, you can see the darts stuck in here.
Yeah, they're darts. It's a dart gun.
And
what the fuck?
Here, everywhere. Even got the dart stuck in his cheek there. So
that's fucking brutal. That's
okay, so
that's a war crime bullet.
Bucking ball.
It's a war crime round.
So it's a 1-ounce slug with 6 double-aught buckshot behind it, and I think it's going to work out pretty nice. So you can see it does absolutely massive damage. You've got the 1-ounce slugs hitting it here, here, and here, and then you've got all of the buckshot hitting it there and there and there, putting the smaller holes in.
So it's one slug with some buckshot along with it.
Okay, so this time we've got a bolo round. It is 2 very large buckshot with a steel cable in between.
What? How is that even possible? We have bolo slug shooting shotguns now. That's fucking awesome. What is the purpose of a tiny bolo, like, is it to, like, break a bird's legs or something? Like, I don't even know. They rip you in half? Okay, there's no way that they shoot out and it's like this long of a wire. That would be nuts. Like, if it could rip your arm off just by shooting it, that would be crazy. One Piece 34, thank you for the $5. Actually, I lied. There's one more meme this time. It isn't Sonic related, but it's Metal Gear related. We'll watch that after this. Thank you for the $5, though. Be sure to donate, guys. We got a lot of white names in chat to genocide today, and if you're a white name, make sure to use the tryhard, TRIHARD emote, and say any gifters if you want to get a free sub gifted to you. The art of begging is very, very useful in my chat. The Oilers in my chat are very soft-hearted and will be swayed by your begging.
And hopefully it will be spinning through the air as we shoot.
I want to see what this does. This is the one that makes me most curious. Yeah, it's so tiny. What is the point of it?
Okay, so you can see right here where one of the bolo rounds hit.
It really
the
fucks...
2-shot penetrated, and the wire broke away. I think maybe it's because this is hard fiberglass, but with a P0rn, you would just drag in and the wire would make a big channel wound. But
I guess, yeah.
let's try something else.
I guess it'd be good for
Okay, so this
hunting.
one's called Rhodesian Jungle. You've got birdshot with buckshot behind it. If you're in like a vegetative area, like a jungle or something, you've got the birdshot going through vines and around them, and then you've got the buckshot coming behind it. And I think it's going to
That's
make
cool.
a lot of little holes and then a few big ones.
Oh, almost all the rounds he's using here are illegal to use in warfare. You can buy rounds that are illegal to use in warfare for, like, personal use against, like, dummies and at, like, shooting ranges and stuff. They're just not allowed to be used in war. It's a war crime to do so.
Okay, so you can definitely see the difference with the Rhodesian Jungle. You've got tiny holes everywhere. On his arms, on his face, all over his body, and I think down there too. And then you've got the buckshot here and pretty much everywhere at this point. So it's a much bigger pattern, and it would definitely work out pretty nicely. That's got to hurt. But let's try something I cooked up myself. Okay, so this is something I cooked up myself. I've got an arrow inside the shotgun, and
This is a
I
Kyle
don't know
thing
how
to
this is
do.
going to work, but it's going to go very bad for him.
Right through the eye!
Okay, so it went through his eye, Osama bin Laden style, and come around here.
Through the back. Oh, it's still
The
stuck!
back of the arrow broke off and stayed inside of his head, and the rest of it kept going, so I'd say that's pretty damn effective. Okay, one more thing. Let's go to that one. Okay, so this is the Dragon's Breath round, and we're going to shoot our other friend
This is a
over
war
here.
crime,
We then dressed
definitely.
him up like a civilian. That's
This
way
round.
we know how flammable he is. And as always, don't try this at home unless you are a professional.
Kyle Myers, crackpot, crack shot, crackpot. Damn. It's called Dragon's Breath for a reason. What are you doing after smoking this? Listen, if you're that bale is on fire. That is a fire hazard. If you're ever going to kill yourself by shooting yourself in the head with a shotgun, that is the round you want to use, because there'll be fireworks, quite literally. It'll be a wet and wild fire and water show, one might say. Free cremation.
As you can see, those are very effective. I hope you enjoy the video, my friends.
That looks like such a fun gun to shoot, especially that round. Hey, chat. Cleans up the evidence, yeah. Hey, chat. Do you guys know why FPS Russia does not upload anymore? I'll go ahead and I'll tell you. It is because the ATF raided him after he had weed sent to his house by a friend that he was buying it, and his dealer got murdered. That is not what happened. That is a myth. A myth that's a mix of like several not even true things. Yeah, the federal government got him, and they were gonna try to get him for a bunch of bullshit charges, but what they managed to get him to plead down to was just intent to distribute marijuana and possession of marijuana was, I think, what they got him on in the end, which was 60 days in a federal prison camp and becoming a felon. So now he's not allowed to own guns anymore. Now he's gotten out of prison for his weed possession, and he's not allowed to own guns anymore, so he can't do FPS Russia anymore. But if you like FPS Russia, he's actually very, very funny when he's not being FPS Russia and he's just Kyle Myers, and he's on a podcast called PKA, Painkiller Already, with Woody's Gamer Tag and Merca Durka, aka Taylor. And originally it was Wings of Redemption who started the podcast with Kyle and Woody, and Kyle being FPS Russia. So yeah, does he say trans rights? He's a little iffy on trans stuff. Like he's befriended some trans people, like a lot of trans people, so that's kind of helped. But like if you look at old PKA clips, especially, he did not have good takes on trans people back then. But like he's still like iffy now. But like you can only be so transphobic when you're friends with a bunch of trans people, you know. So it seems like he's on the right track. You know what I'm saying? He's on the right track. I was like, wait, wasn't that the podcast Wings of Redemption started? And I was right. Yeah. Like if you go into any room, it seems like anywhere in the world, and you scream out, "Who here knows who Wings of Redemption is?" somebody will raise their hand. I feel like if I went into a Walmart, the closest Walmart to me, and I just screamed out, "Raise your hand if you know who Wings of Redemption is," some voice in the Walmart would scream, "Shout out Sean Ranklin." Somebody in that Walmart would do it. No matter where in the world I went, I feel like it'd be the case. A nursing home, someone would scream, "Shout out Sean Ranklin." Yeah, Jesus Christ. And then he'd get kicked out, yeah. Well, to be fair, everybody knows who that guy is. Yeah, PK Podcast is dope. Scooby Snack, thank you for the $15 donation. Appreciate that, homie. Very kind of you, my lovely buddy. Says, the genuine question, do you think the St. Louis gun couple's excuse of defending their property was valid when the George Floyd protests were marching in front of their house? By the way, love your content. Well, they were marching in front of their house, not on their property necessarily, and I don't think they had reasonable, like, grounds to believe they were, like, their lives were threatened. So I wouldn't side with them. Plus, it's very funny to make fun of how deranged they look standing on their front lawns with their guns out. Remember people memeing like it being like a teaser for the the next season of the Ozarks. Thank you for the donos, though. What is this Metal Gear meme that you have sent me?
Hey, Raiden!
Oh, dear God.
Let me get a lottery ticket.
You're not gonna scratch it here, are you?
You know what they say, Raiden? A 3 charity card today makes the $413 billion in home equity loans go away.
How do you let your debt get this bad?
Nanomachines and tax evasion. Something you wouldn't understand, Raiden.
Sir, this is a fucking Texican.
My results. 3 X's.
You win a SpongeBob popsicle.
Capitalism at its finest. Hey, Raiden!
Oh, dear God.
Let me get a
Thank you. Thank you very much, One Piece 34. I appreciate the dono. Want some cringe? What is this? I saw this clip.
Option to, like, but like if Democrats had the option to, like, the entire country would be ran by like California and New York. They'd abolish the Senate, or they'd just get rid of the filibuster. They would axe the Electoral College, and they would probably reapportion seats in the House to make it so that the most populous states, which are all like left leaning, and then they would pack the courts.
That does sound pretty based. Can we re-listen to that again? Because...
But like, if Democrats had the option...
Okay, if Democrats had their way...
to, like, the entire country would be ran by, like, California and New York.
If Democrats had their way, the whole country would be run by California and New York.
They'd abolish the Senate, or they'd just get rid of the filibuster.
They'd abolish the Senate, or get rid of the filibuster, or just get rid of the filibuster. I would like to say... No mainstream Democrats are advocating for the abolition of the Senate. The closest you get... I don't even think any of even the craziest Republicans are advocating for the abolishment of the Senate. Maybe, like, the types that supported January 6th, you could say that, but, like, how can you even say the Democrats, like, want to abolish the Senate? Abolishing the filibuster is not a problem. I don't see how that would be an issue.
They would axe the Electoral College.
Good. But the Electoral College is the thing that makes it so that the guy who got literally less votes can still win. That's not democracy.
And they would probably reapportion seats in the House to make it so that the most populous states, which are all like left-leaning, and then they would pack the courts.
They would make it so that the states that are more populous and that they have more people living in them would have more representatives and thus would have more influence on public policy. He's literally just saying if the Democrats were in charge, they would make it so that the majority of people in the country decide what happens when elections happen. They would destroy democracy. What? I'm like not trying to like dunk here or anything. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Like, I feel like if he wanted to make this point, what he could have listed was, if Democrats had their way, they'd pack the courts. They'd open up new seats on the Supreme Court in order to do so. They would, like I don't know, like, that would be, like, honestly, the first thing I can think of as, like, a feasible way that Democrats would, if they had the ability to, take control, so to say, would be creating new seats for the Supreme Court and packing it. Like, that's like the only real feasible thing I can think of. If anybody else who's a little bit more knowledgeable about this, like, I'd like to talk to Dylan about this. If I could talk to Dylan Burns about this topic, I think he would probably be, like, way smarter about this than me. Like, he'd be like, oh, well, Democrats could do this, and it would be, like, very anti-democracy. They could do that. In the past, they tried to do this. Like, I'm sure Dylan would know about that. I'm just not, like, that informed on it. But, like, the first thing that comes to mind is, like, packing the Supreme Court, but he didn't list that as a thing, if I recall. I don't know. He's going Joker mode. He's going Joker mode. Forgive me, chat. I must go Joker mode. One Piece 34, thank you for the $5 donation. I appreciate that, my friend. Very kind of you. Says, wait here, one more meme, but please let chat see it, or you're going to the Sonic realm with no MILF. But I like MILF. I like MILF. Thank you, One Piece.
Well, if it isn't Sussy Jack.
Bro, are you high?
Let me check. Yes. High on American spirit. And there's nothing more American. And there's nothing more American than shooting a man in this Walmart of a world.
What is Walmart?
It's heaven, Raiden. Checked the internet lately?
Raiden, hop on Twitter. You need to see this.
Fuck, I hate this website.
It's all fucking weeb shit, Raiden. It doesn't make any sense. They're being distracted with other nonsense.
These baboons don't even know they're at war with Pakistan.
This one's calling me a Redditor.
And that's just the beginning. E-girls, gotcha, memes, all just petty distractions so real men can get down to business.
Mogus.
And as you know, American imperialism is absolutely justified because we had a black president once. Before I fucking killed him.
That's a nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up. Imagine a world, Raiden, free of cancel culture, where no one can call me out for my outlandish claims. A world where I can say the N-word.
What?
No. Catch it. I've got my own to debate online. A real man.
That's been the best one so far. I've seen the that's a nice argument, Senator. What's your source? My source is that I made it the fuck up! I've seen that on Twitter. I didn't know it was part of a full video. That's fucking amazing. Can you please link this? I've been looking for it for ages. No! I will not. Yes, I will. I feel bad about saying no now. Sorry. Sorry for raising my voice. Just got angry. I apologize. Okay. Chainsaw Chimera, thank you for the $5, homie. I appreciate that very much. Says YouTube link. Thank you.
You millennial leftists who never lived one day under nuclear threat can now reflect upon your woke sky.
What are you trying to say? No, like genuinely. Like what the fuck does that mean?
You made quite a non-binary fuss to save the world from intercontinental ballistic tweets.
Do you know what non-binary means?
You know, nanomachines.
Hold on. I'm checking Twitter real quick. You got ratioed by the dictionary. How do you manage that, man? You're 50.
Cancel culture strikes again.
The Ryden fucking Senator Armstrong, like, cancel culture debate, whatever the fuck it is, memes are so goddamn good. Zan, please, it's 2 a.m. It's beautiful art. Metal Gear Rising. One Piece 34, thank you for the extra $5 donation is what we'll call it. Says, wait, this one pretty funny also, I spare you from the Sonic realm, thank you.
I had a dream.
Yeah, I get. You're trying to do the whole Martin Luther King, I had a
No, Jack. I had a dream. The dream. The dream where Bionicle's back on shelves, on the aisles, where they belong!
Wait, hold on. Was it like the original sets were back on shelves? Or?
No, actually, it was kind of like an evergreen situation. You know, like what they're doing in Ninjago. Re-releasing sets and, like, updating them a little bit, or just doing brand new sets entirely in order to promote old eras of the show. You know, that kind of legacy thing.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see.
Yes, exactly, Jack. But when I'm done here, Bionicle will be back to its former glory. None of that weak Gen 2 shit. We're continuing the story of Generation 1. We'll figure out what Valiki's plans were. We'll figure out who was killing Trent Crom and Kazani. We'll figure out what happened to Leiwa and Pahatu and the rest of the gang. We'll figure out the truth, the right star, everything, Jack.
Son of a bitch, I thought you were just some crazy bastard wanting to start war, but you know what? Fuck yeah, let's bring Bionicle back!
You son of a bitch, I'm in. You son of a bitch, I'm in. People make thick bit by people make thick bionicles and it haunts me. That's cool. Sorry, I kind of died there for a second. Happens. You ever just fucking die, chat? You ever just die for a second? And then you're just like, whoa, wait, I don't want to do that. And then you just come back. Happens every once in a while. You just kind of, you're like, oh, am I dying? Whoa, come back. Whoa, just randomly for no reason. Like, whoa, come on, come back. All right, let's not just, damn. Oof. It's like falling asleep. It happens sometimes. You guys don't have to consciously think to stay alive. Imagine if that was like a disease that people had. That like, they couldn't subconsciously keep themselves breathing or their heart beating, so they had to like to keep their heart beating on that, like, consciously, and they had to act manually breathe. That would be horrible if you had to manually beat your heart and manually breathe. You have to think to live like a shark. That's a real thing. I will actually murder you if you send me some shit that says that's real and there's some person out there experiencing that. That's horrifying. You know what's even scarier? Okay. All right. Chat hypers if you believe there's an eternal afterlife. Of any kind whatsoever. Where your consciousness goes after you die. A lot of atheists in the chat, damn. I said hypers, not say yes or no. The thing that was always so scary to me is if there is any type of eternal afterlife after death, that's sort of a terrifying implication, isn't it? Because if there's even an eternal afterlife of, like, you know, pleasure, it means there can be anything. Right? There could potentially be an eternal afterlife where it's just you drowning, dying, coming back to life, and drowning over and over again for eternity. Or just whatever is the worst thing you can possibly imagine for eternity. God. When I got put under for getting my wisdom teeth removed, it was just like, I remember counting down to 7 from 10, then nothing. Just waking up in a wheelchair with cotton stuffed in my mouth, the surgery being over, and not even realizing any time had passed. I was like, we're leaving? What? It's over? What? What? How? Nothing's happened. It's already over? When's it? I thought I'd like woken up before it started because so little time had passed. I thought I'd blinked. I was like confused as to why I was getting lifted out of the chair. So yeah, that's about as close as I think it gets to experiencing what death is like. Consciously, I guess you could say. Oh my god, the curious case of a boy who stops breathing every time he falls asleep. Oh shit. One Piece 34, thank you for the $6. I really appreciate that. Says here, it seems like we're at 91. Jesus Christ. Thank you, guys. It says, Link, alrighty, here's the last Metal Gear meme, and also let chat see it. I will. And then Chainsaw Camaro with the $5 says, have you seen Prehistoric Planet yet? It's so fucking good. I do need to see it. Thank you for the link. I think it's the documentary about dinosaurs, right? Alright, let's watch this.
The curious case of a boy who stops breathing every time he falls asleep.
Needs a CPAP. Or BPAP.
Liam Derbyshire was born with a very rare congenital disease that causes him to stop breathing every time he falls asleep. Doctors told his parents that he wouldn't live past 6 weeks, but the boy has defied the odds and will soon turn 18 years old. Liam suffers from a condition known as central hypoventilation, or Ondine's curse, after a nymph from French folk stories. Ondine fell in love with a man called Palamon, and at their wedding he vowed to love her with his every breath. So, when the nymph later discovered his infidelity, she cursed him. You pledged faithfulness to me with your every waking breath, and I accepted that pledge. So be it. For as long as you are awake, you shall breathe. But should you ever fall into sleep, that breath will desert you. Totally normal stuff for a folktale, but a similar curse actually exists in real life. Ondine's curse is a very rare condition. It's estimated that only 1,500 people around the world suffer from it, but Liam's case is one of the most extreme. Milder versions of the condition prevent sufferers from getting a good, repairing sleep, but in the 18-year-old's case, falling asleep can literally kill him because he stops breathing whenever he dozes off. The boy's been sleeping in a medical bed his entire life, connected to a life support system that feeds oxygen into his lungs and monitors his vitals. Liam Derbyshire's room is a mix between a normal teenager's room and a hospital, with complex Lego creations, his favorite hobby, blending the medical gear and wires. Even though
when you hear about people who have this condition, it makes me think that story about the curse that this disease or like condition or whatever it is based off of. How much do you want to bet that story comes from somebody who is like very well known and famous, who had this like like condition and was known for it and inspired that story, like back in like the way like the fucking Bronze Age or whatever. You have to imagine that stuff like this, stuff that we nowadays consider to be like, really rare and interesting, would be back then considered to be like almost supernatural, stuff like this. Like, people probably would think cancer was a curse back in the day, right? Like, how much, like, would I'm actually curious about that. In the olden days, you would assume cancer was a thing, right? Like, lung cancer, brain cancer, like, leukemia, stuff like that. Like, how do you think people figured out what it was? I guess, like, someone died and you cut them open and found the tumors, but I don't even know. That's interesting. I wonder, like, that's what I want to know. I'm gonna do some Googling after stream and research that just because I'm curious. Like, how was cancer discovered? Because it seems like it's one of those things that you could just drop dead from, like if it goes unknown, you got like a brain tumor, one day it's just lights out. You have a stroke, you have a heart attack or something, and you're done. You know, you just drop dead. You never even knew it.
The sensors in his bed constantly monitor his life signs. Someone has to be around all the time in case anything goes wrong. Looking after him has been tough on the family, who've spent thousands of pounds on electricity bills and backup power sources in case of power outs, but are happy to have given their son as normal a life as he could have in these circumstances. We've been very fortunate with Liam that he's had the life that he's got. We always wanted him to have as normal a life as we could give him. He's exceeding all expectations, Liam's mother, Kim, said when he turned 11. He's so full of life. He's fantastic. He's constantly smiling and laughing. He's very affectionate. He has all the normal traits of a lot of kids. Every day of his life is a bonus. Now, almost 18...
They need to get Dr. House in on this. Alright, they need to get Dr. House in on that. He'd be down. Alright. What is this? Show me the movies. It's so absurd. It's so absurd. Strongest femboy versus weakest tomboy. True. True and... True. Okay, actually, Zan, there's a potential implication of quantum theory that says that even in equilibrium at the end of the universe, given enough time, a system of particles identical to the perception your brain is currently having will spontaneously come together, which means that at every moment we might just be one of these brains floating in the void for a second, or for even like a fraction of a second, you know? Because here's the thing, the human brain can't experience... I've heard about that theory. The human brain can't, you know, obviously perceive its... Like, your consciousness can't perceive itself not existing. So for you, death or not existing would just be a flash, you know, an imperceptible flash. And that's when you get into like the quantum suicide theory or the quantum immortality theory. That's really interesting, where it's like, how many near-death experiences have you had? Like very close ones, where it's like, how have I not got yet? The idea of like quantum suicide or quantum immortality is that every single time you might die, or anytime anything could happen, but specifically, anytime you might die, you have a near-death experience or anything like that, you are in a superposition of both alive and dead, you know, Schrodinger's cat type deal. And since your consciousness simply cannot perceive the universe in which you are, or the reality, the superposition, alternative reality or whatever, where you died, your consciousness just continues in the timeline where you somehow lived. And so the theory is that no matter what, because it is impossible for your consciousness to stop existing, assuming that quantum, quantum theory is correct and everything, that quantum mechanics is true and all the theories around it are true and everything like that, and that string theory is a valid bridge to physics and, quantum mechanics, then my understanding is that, I'm sorry, I'm high. I forgot everything I was saying. I love science stuff. I wish we could watch science stuff on stream. It's just that you guys tend to get bored by it because you're not all high as fuck like I am. Okay, here, let me find a video that talks about quantum immortality. Entertainingly. Is this a good video?
It's a linear time. In quantum theory, a common saying is that anything that can happen does. Imagine the most unlikely events happening to you every time you step outside your door or wake up from sleeping for that matter. Quantum suicide and quantum immortality come from this idea and suggest that it's impossible to die from your own point of view and that you've been killed countless times already. The paradox is mind-bending, but makes perfect sense utilizing quantum mechanics. Your true self exists in a quantum many-stateness and is not limited to linear time.
By the way, I should be clear here, the idea of superpositions and the ability for something to both exist and not exist at once on the quantum on a subatomic level is already like observed, or I should say not observed, funnily enough, to be a thing. We've figured out that like when you shoot like particles through a slot while observing it, it acts like a particle. But when you aren't observing it, it behaves like a wave. And we've had ways of measuring this without observing it happening. And we've figured out that when we, in any way, even if we like look at a sensor, like it behaves like a particle. But if we look at the effect of what it has on, I think it's like some sensor or something like that, or like a paper or something like that, it has the same effect of a wave when we're not looking at it. Ironically enough, very similar to how like when you're not looking at something in a video game, it pops out of existence, almost like the universe is saving data or saving information by not rendering, quote unquote, anything that you can't perceive or that anyone can perceive or detect. It's interesting. So what I mean by that is when you look at and even if you just look at an atom, right? Like imagine an atom right now. You've got like the nucleus and you've got electrons. You got like the neutron, you got the electrons surrounding it. When you think of like the image of an atom where it's like the neutrons circling it, that's not really like an accurate representation of what that is. They don't orbit it. What that represents is their superposition. Those neutrons could be, or sorry, those, I'm mixing them up. I'm sorry, I'm very high. Those electrons could be anywhere around the neutron or neutrons. What that just represents like their superposition. They can be anywhere and everywhere in a superposition state around it, right? And we know that happens on like an atomic and subatomic level because of quantum mechanics. We know that happens. This theory suggests that superpositioning and the idea of being one thing and another thing at the same time and not at all and whatnot can exist on the macro level as well, and also assumes that it applies to your consciousness. And that your consciousness can be like dropped off and continued in a completely different body. Like we can't even assume that if you took me apart atom by atom and then rebuilt me with those same atoms in the exact same form, that I would be able to just pop back and I would be the same consciousness necessarily. That like for me, I wouldn't just have died, you know, and it wouldn't be a whole new consciousness of my memories, kind of like a clone starting up, you know?
The anthropic principles state that anything required for the observer to be observing happens regardless of any apparent exterior factors. The unifying field theory, which unites the theory of relativity with quantum physics, is mathematically sound and suggests that all things have remained connected since the inception of the universe.
Fortnite, when you're in chat, you're always pretty annoying and wrong sometimes, so I'm just kidding. No, I know about the contestment or how contested quantum immortality is. Obviously, there is no proof that it is true. You can't prove it's true at all, but it's interesting. It's interesting. That's why we're watching this. Actually, this video is particularly boring. I would like to find a better one. It's a waveform of profitable position. Like, well, so here's the thing. Like, the wave function collapses once you get to like the macro scale and something just is or isn't, right? It can't be both things at once as far as we know or can perceive. It's possible that there is a superposition of everything, and that there is a superposition of me right now sitting here and a superposition of me getting crushed by a meteor right now. And those are different, like, realities that exist. But maybe you just can't perceive it like you can perceive the superposition of a, you know, an electron around a neutron. Talk about dark matter. Isn't dark matter just our stand-in placeholder for what we know exists? Like, it's a type of matter that makes up the majority of the matter in the universe that we know exists because it has to, but we can't observe it or haven't observed it, and it's not like necessarily dark matter. Dark energy is different, I think. Yeah. Aren't you assuming we know enough about conscience? I thought we didn't know what conscience was. Yeah, we don't. That's the thing, though. We don't. Anyone who claims they know does not know. Toxic masculinity is a major contributing factor to gun violence. Isn't it 98% of mass shooters being men? Why do people come in here like 30 minutes to an hour after you finish talking about a topic and then just like out of nowhere respond to something that hasn't been said? Like, I don't... dark energy is just the same thing for energy that can't be accounted for. Dark energy is the fun one. Universe expansion magic. Yeah, my understanding is that dark energy is theorized to be what causes cosmic inflation, right? Soy! Oh wait, I can just switch screens. Thank you, babe. Booba. You're very pretty. She's so pretty. She got me a vape. Let's fucking go. Dark matter is unobservable matter. I don't think that's the term. I think it's unobservable to us, but it's what we've given as a placeholder for that matter that we can't see, that we know has to be there. The cool thing when you think about, I feel like what we need to do to get somebody like me interested in science and math and stuff like that, and just generally learning at a young age, is framing education differently. Like if when I was like 10 or 11 years old, someone came up to me and said, listen, I know you hate school and I know it's boring and stuff, but you know how you like learning about all the intricacies and all the rules as to how a video game, like say Minecraft, works? Like, you like learning if this can do that, or the laws and rules of the game, like the physics almost of it. Science and math and whatnot are essentially trying to do that, but for the universe, figuring out the rules and the laws of exactly how it works. How does the engine of reality work? What are the rules of the engine that runs this game of reality, and how do they work, you know? One of them is the cosmic speed limit. Light. The speed of light. I don't know. I feel like a framing of it more like that would have intrigued me a lot more. Yeah, Chainsaw Chimera, thank you for the $5. Says, have you seen Prehistoric Planet yet? It's so fucking good. Let's check this out.
Doctor, inject Apple TV's Prehistoric Planet directly into my cock. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, damn. I'm learning so much, too.
Full grown. I'm so excited to watch it, too. Oh, and it's... and it's an Attenborough documentary, too. Okay, who here remembers that one... I'm trying to remember the name of it, but I'm blanking on it right now. It was revolutionary. Walking with dinosaurs, walking with monsters, and walking with... There was another one, too. There's a couple. It's walking with dinosaurs, walking with monsters. Walking with man was one of them, and that's the evolution of humans. Walking with monsters was the evolution of mammals and beasts of the earth to modern day. And then there was another one that was about, like, the sea, I want to say? Flying with monsters, yeah. I think that was, like, flying stuff, yeah. Walking with dinosaurs was so fucking legendary. The thing that was so special about it is that 90% of the effects, I feel like, were Jurassic Park tier puppeting. And besides a lot of the information probably being very outdated and misinformed, you know, we're constantly like re-amending what we know about dinosaurs at every fucking turn, because the stuff we use to put things together is so weird. It's like, the way we know that this dinosaur ate this is because we found some of it around the teeth in the fossil. And it's like, but couldn't that have just been there? Maybe. We'll change that if anything comes along to disprove it. You know, like that's the best we can really do, right? Like, there's really not much we can glean from a lot of this shit, you know? Thank you, though, my friend. I appreciate that. Okay. How long have I been streaming for? Almost 3 hours. Okay. We got a while to go. All right. It is time for that classic Amber Heard coverage continuation while playing WoW. Let's see. What's going on in the trial today? All right, this is from 7 hours ago. Amber Heard testifies in her rebuttal case. Shit. Remember, because they're suing each other at once, so they're like going back and forth. So that's like all a whole thing that's going down. I'm opening up WoW. Trust me, we aren't cheering at it. My reasoning for why we're covering this trial is, listen, I'm not going to pretend like I don't gain from it. Obviously, I do. There's a lot of talk about it. People are interested in it. Obviously, people are going to watch if I cover it. I'm not stupid. You're not stupid. I'm not going to discount your intelligence. You know that I benefit from it, and I know that I benefit from it. However, I do believe that the way the right has weaponized this trial is literally like ×5, honestly like ×300 the inciting incident of Gamergate. If you remember that story, it was about if I remember correctly, Alec Hawalka and Zoe Quinn. That was the whole, like, it was about cheating and like domestic abuse accusations were literally the more or less the inciting incident of it. And this is something like that, but with hundreds of thousands of more eyes on it, I would have to guess. You're one of the few people I actually trust to give decent coverage on Depp v. Heard. Good. 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 Nah, I'm just kidding. That's nice to hear. I'm going to turn the in-game volume off just so there's not any music to deal with. It's just, once I'm in-game, I can do that. Oh, I was in a precarious position, wasn't I? Let's just hit that hearth. Right there looks good. Yeah, okay. Alrighty. This is Amber Heard's testimony. Let's hop right on in. My primal mana sold. All right, I made a lot of gold from that, as you can see. I went from 96 gold to 268 gold from selling all that primal mana on the auction house. And I wanted to let you guys know, since last time I streamed, I have farmed my epic flying mount and epic flying. I can now fly full speed. I can now zoom. I'm zooming. Look at me zoom. Look how fucking fast I can fly now. This is ridiculous. It's absurd. is the fastest flying speed in the game. Costs 5,000 gold just to get the flying trained. And then to get the mount itself, I think was like 500 or something like that. It was fairly expensive. But I did it. I got my epic flying. And I definitely want to try to farm Ashes of Alar and stuff down the road, but yeah. Congrats on your epic griffin. Took months to get it. It took me like 4 or 5 days of farming. I'll show you exactly how I did it. If you go to Netherstorm, you see this place right here, Kiranvar Village. If you go here, especially when there's quite a few people online, there are a shit ton of mana wraiths and mana wraiths and mage killers, I think they're called. Mage Seekers, I think. And when you kill them, they have a like 20 to 25% chance or something like that to drop motes of mana. 10 motes of mana crafts into a primal mana, and each primal mana on the auction house sells anywhere between 10 gold to 15 gold, as far as I've seen. I've never seen it go up to 20 gold, but I think it probably could. It just depends. And it sells fast, too. It sells fast, especially if you have an auction add-on that automatically undercuts by 1 copper whoever it is that whoever else is selling the same thing you're trying to sell. So that usually gets your stuff sold out very quick, and that's, you know, always very nice. So that said, I'm gonna do more of that exact same farming method, but first I've got to deposit some shit. Actually, double first, we're going to watch the trial. So let's get into it. That is not my mic, by the way. That is the video. I'll skip ahead a little bit.
Okay.
Right. Here it is. Okay.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Just a reminder, you're still under oath, okay?
Of course, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, your question?
Amber, just to orient you and the jury, at this time, we are in the rebuttal to your counterclaim against Mr. Depp. So I'm going to confine my questions to that, okay?
All right.
How have you suffered publicly as a result of the Depp-Waldman statements?
Objection, speculation.
Overruled.
I am harassed, humiliated, threatened every single day. Even just walking into this courtroom, sitting here in front of the world, having the worst parts of my life, things I've lived through, used to humiliate me.
This is true. This has happened.
People want to kill me, and they tell me so.
That's definitely true.
Every day. People want to put my baby in the microwave, and they tell me that. Johnny threatened, promised me that if I ever left him, he'd make me think of him every single day that I lived.
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
All right, I'll sustain the objection as to that. If you want to ask the question.
Amber, how did Mr. Depp's statements and threats to you that you were discussing, how do those continue to manifest themselves today?
In the harassment and the humiliation, the campaign against me that's echoed every single day on social media and now in front of cameras in this room. Every single day I have to relive the trauma. My hands shake. I wake up screaming. I have to live with the trauma and the damage done to me. My friends have to live with a set of unspoken rules about how to not scare me.
Objection, hearsay.
Yes, sir.
Unspoken rules.
Overruled. Go ahead.
About how to not touch me, not to surprise me. My intimate partners have rules about how they can deal with me, how they can touch me. I have rules for doctors, medical professionals I see, gynecologists I see. I live my life with these sets of rules that I have to follow, my friends have to follow for me not to have a panic attack or a triggering event where I relive the trauma. Even if I'm training to do my movie, for instance, if I'm training for Aquaman, a combat scene and a trigger happens, I have a meltdown and have to deal with that. The crew I work with have to deal with that because of the damage I walk around with every single day from what I've lived through, from what I've survived. I'm not sitting in this courtroom snickering. I'm not sitting in this courtroom laughing, smiling, and making snide jokes. I'm not. This is horrible. This is painful. And this is humiliating for any human being to go through. And perhaps it's easy to forget that, but I'm a human being. And even though Johnny promised that I deserve this and promised he'd do this, I don't deserve this. I want to move on. Those statements, the attacks on me, the campaign, that Johnny has elicited millions of people to do on his behalf when he himself
Objection, Your Honor,
couldn't do
lack
it.
of foundation.
Torture me every day.
Speculation.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Amber, how have the Depp-Waldman statements impacted your ability to do charitable work?
You know, the only reason that people like Dr. Curry can sit up here on the stand and say I'm high functioning and I do things like have hobbies and have interests is
Objection,
because I'm not.
non-responsive.
Your Honor, Mr. Depp gave long-winded responses yesterday.
Good.
It's because I found a solution to that pain. I woke up every morning with panic attacks and trauma until I realized I could do something with it. So to answer your question, Ben, I was able to turn the things that I've lived through, my pain, my life experiences, into work, into action, into providing a voice for other people. I'm not a saint. I'm not trying to present myself as one, as you all know, but I selfishly found relief in being able to use what I've lived through to advocate for others, to bring light to these issues, to give a voice to people who don't have the voice and the platform that I have. And while I would not wish this situation on my worst enemy, if it gives a voice to someone who doesn't have it. But I now, as I stand here today, can't have a career. I can't even have people associate with me because of the threats and the attacks that they have to endure.
Objection,
when they are.
non-responsive.
And I can't do my charity work.
Sustain the objection.
Amber, other than the threats that you've described, what other threats have you endured since the Depp-Waldman statements were made?
I receive hundreds of death threats regularly, if not daily. Thousands since this trial has started. People mocking my testimony about being assaulted. Making fun of my...
Objection, relevance. Non-responsive.
You can continue.
I'm gonna mute the game in a second, Chad. I forgot to do it earlier.
Agonizing, painful, and the most humiliating thing I've ever had to go through. I hope no one ever has to go through something like this. I just want Johnny to leave me alone. I just want him to leave me alone. I've said that for years now, and I thought he would after 2020.
Objection, non-responsive.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next
Oh,
question.
this is the shark lawyer. Okay. Hypers, if you were somehow not here for my last Amber Heard coverage segment, if you weren't here for it, then you won't know who I'm talking about. There's this one lawyer that Johnny Depp has, who's just this, like, very, in my opinion, very cute, like, young lady who's just an absolute shark. Okay, she's like questioning Amber Heard, and she's like, "You're a psychopath, aren't you, Miss Heard?" And it's just like the tone is so passive aggressive. She starts off like almost sounding sympathetic, like, "You really loved him, didn't you, Miss Heard?" And then slowly, the questions start to get more passive aggressive, and like the "don't you" or "didn't you, Miss Heard" starts to get like a little bit more firm. And it's like, oh my god, I'm starting to sweat here. Holy shit. Can you imagine if she's a parent? Her kids are gonna be like the most disciplined and well-behaved kids ever. They're gonna be terrified. Shark lawyer do.
What do you hope to reclaim after this is over?
I come. I'm sorry.
Protecting the secret that I did for as long as I did has taken enough of my voice. Johnny has taken enough of my voice. I have the right to tell my story. I have the right to say what happened to me. I have the right to my voice and my name. He took it long enough. I have a right as an American to talk about what happened to me, to own my story and my truth. I have that right.
I thought this was America.
I hope to get my voice back.
So does Johnny, though. Okay, well, so does Johnny, though, but Johnny Depp is the one suing her here for defamation, so it is a case of, you know, at least from her perspective, or the best place to argue from is, you know, oh, Johnny Depp is trying to silence my voice and prevent me from telling my truth. And that is by far the best defense that she has, and I have no doubt her lawyers have insistently told her, keep on repeating, you were just telling your truth. You were telling your truth. He's trying to keep you from telling your truth. Yeah.
And I've said that from day one.
I'm not saying she's lying, by the way. Whether she's, like, you know, guilty of what she's been accused of or not, you know, if she has good lawyers, they're telling her to stick to that talking point because that's the way you win a case. I'm just not making any accusations here, just saying that's what good lawyers would be telling her, probably.
Thank you, Amber. I don't have anything else.
All right, cross-examination.
Actually, Your Honor, may we approach very briefly?
Yes. Yeah.
They muted the mic for like the talk between the lawyer and the judge, I guess. It's wild. This is like all being live streamed. Like, I said this before, but it's crazy that we're in this like day and age where this is a thing. This shit disgusts me. Like the general coverage of it, or just like the existence of it, or the circumstances of the trial. The thing that, like, I view this not too dissimilarly to the Ukraine invasion coverage, right? Like, it's not pleasant to cover or to watch or to, like, really know is going on. It's kind of depressing, in fact, but, like, you almost gain a little bit of solace in watching somebody who's, like, reasonable and you know isn't going to be insane about it cover it, because at least then your innate human desire to, you know, inform yourself can be satisfied while also not subjecting yourself to, you know, like misinformation or like crazy narratives or whatever. And I think that publicizing it is kind of important to a degree. This I feel like should have all been a private affair, honestly, for the most part. But as far as like something like what I'm doing right now, which is talking about it while everyone else is, I think it's important that my voice is getting out there so that if somebody searches Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, maybe by some chance YouTube sends them to me and they hear like a decent lefty take on it. Because I haven't seen any lefty streamers really besides Demon Mama cover this all that much. And I know that Vosh doesn't plan on talking about it or covering it. It's sort of a similar situation to, I I talked about this recently, or no, I didn't talk about it recently. It happened recently. When the Chris Chan thing happened, I covered it, and Vosh like got really mad at his audience because they kept on insisting that he covers it. And I correctly predicted that the right would be weaponizing the fuck out of all of that to, you know, do some anti-trans, like, oh, trans people are predators shit. And, you know, I said that we, you know, lefties need to jump on board on that and, like, you know, cover this topic in an effective way that will prevent the right from having a monopoly on coverage of this particular topic. And, Vosh just kind of personally disagreed, like he didn't want to cover it, but we had like a debate over the importance of it, and people said that I won, so that was pretty cool, huh? Vosh and Xanderhal 1-0, haha. 0-1, I guess, in that order. But yeah, that was fun. It's a similar scenario to that, I think, where like a lot of people on the left, I feel like they feel very above this kind of stuff. Like they kind of, I think they think this kind of stuff is mindless drivel, but the thing you have to understand is the kind of stuff the average normie is into that we're trying to appeal to is mindless drivel. And the kind of stuff that the right is into that they'll be able to like easily weaponize for their politics is also mindless drivel. So sometimes you gotta touch shit to win, you know? Sometimes you gotta crawl through the shit to win. I can't really think of a better analogy, but I think that's, you know, good enough. Oh, did I have it paused? Does the sound come back soon?
That the events
Here it comes.
that and
All right, here, the shark lawyer is back.
Ms. Heard, you just testified that this case has been very hard for you. So let's talk about that and why.
All right.
Your lies have been exposed to the world multiple times, right?
I love her. I love this lawyer.
I haven't lied about anything I've been here to say.
You sat here and told this jury that the events in Hicksville started with Mr. Depp getting really upset about a woman leaning on you. Is that correct?
Yes, that's effectively what happened, yeah.
You testified that he actually grabbed that woman's wrist and twisted it, right?
And told her that he could effectively break her wrist by saying he knew how many pounds of pressure, or asking her how many pounds of pressure it took to break a human wrist.
But your own witness, your former best friend, Rocky Pennington, she didn't corroborate that, did she?
I'm not quite sure what part of that night she saw. There were a lot of people there.
She didn't testify that Mr. Depp grabbed anyone's wrist in Hicksville.
Again, I don't know what Rocky saw. There were a lot of people there that night.
You testified that once you brought Mr. Depp back to your trailer, he trashed it, correct?
That is correct.
And the manager of the Hicksville trailer park was furious that Johnny had wrecked the whole thing. Do you remember that testimony?
That's correct.
Well, we heard from that manager of the Hicksville trailer park, Morgan Knight, on Monday, didn't we?
I'm not quite sure who that guy was or if he had any involvement in this. I know a lot of people have come out of the woodwork to be involved.
So you're accusing Mr. Knight of testifying and committing perjury?
I'm not accusing anyone. I just don't recognize that man.
You heard Mr. Knight testify that it was actually you who was upset with Mr. Depp spending time away from him. Isn't that correct?
How would he know? He wasn't there.
You heard Mr. Knight testify that it was actually you who was yelling at Mr. Depp.
Spicy.
Again, I've heard a lot of people say a lot of things to be involved in the Johnny Depp show, but he wasn't there. He doesn't know. And he certainly doesn't know what happened behind closed doors, like most people.
So you're calling Mr. Knight a liar?
I am saying he wasn't there, and what he testified to doesn't match what I know happened. But I don't fault him. He wasn't there, so how would he know?
He testified he was there, Ms. Heard. Did you hear that?
That's his testimony, yes.
So you're calling him a liar?
I'm just saying he wasn't there.
You heard Mr. Knight testify that the trailer wasn't trashed, and that's why you're calling him a liar.
He testified that a light fixture was broken, similar to the way that
yes, other than a light fixture, that was the only thing that was broken, right? Ms. Heard,
and things
Ms.
like
Heard,
that.
Ms.
The
Heard.
only thing that was broken in the trailer, according to Mr. Knight, was a light fixture. Yes or no?
I realized that he summed it up by saying a light fixture was broken. Just the way his security guard summed up him trashing my closet as being rearranged.
Your Honor, I'm going to move to strike everything.
Okay. All right. Chat. Here's where my takes get spicy. All right. Regardless of whether or not Johnny Depp and like the stuff that he did was like retaliatory abuse, whatever people call it, that still means that Amber Heard was the victim of abuse in a toxic relationship, even if she did it herself. And this is, you know, what we are watching right now is like the public shaming of a woman for coming forward with her side of the story. And like there is evidence of Johnny Depp being like kind of a shitty toxic boyfriend and partner. I don't know if I'd go as far as physically abusive, because that hasn't been concretely proven yet as far as I'm aware, but it does sit weird with me in these moments where it's like owning the woman who's allegedly coming forward with abuse claims. But then at the same time, if she is full of shit, it's like, you know, I would be thrilled to see the same thing happen to somebody who'd made similar false accusations towards me, you know?
After he summed it up, that it was a light fixture as non-responsive.
She answered the question, Your Honor.
Overruled.
In the security guard testimony, Your Honor?
I'll allow it. Go ahead.
Mr. Knight also testified that he charged Mr. Depp only $62 for the damaged light fixture. You heard that, correct?
I did.
In Hicksville, you were the only one that was jealous that Mr. Depp was spending time from other people. Isn't that correct, Ms. Heard?
That is incorrect.
In Hicksville, you were the one who was upset that Mr. Depp wasn't giving you enough attention.
Incorrect again.
I don't believe
Ms.
that.
Heard, you told this jury that you had no idea the press was going to be at the courthouse when you got your TRO on May 27th, 2016. Do you remember that?
I've never heard of a woman who was unhappy with getting, like, not getting attention in a relationship, or who was happy with not getting attention in a relationship. I'm sorry, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Misogyny moment here. I'm using my misogyny powers to overrule this, okay? I don't believe it.
Testimony?
I said I did not have anything to do with it. Yes.
No. I question again. You told this jury that you had no idea that the press was going to be outside after you got the ex-party TRO on May 27th, 2016. Do you remember that testimony?
I apologize. I must have misunderstood Ms. Vasquez. I actually had no idea whether they were going to be there or not. When I walked into the courtroom that day, it was completely quiet, still, empty. Even though I had given Johnny's team notice that I was filing the TRO,
Your Honor, this is not
we had no reason to believe that the press knew.
And Your Honor, I would also ask that you instruct the witness to please stop talking once I lodge an objection.
Your Honor, she's trying to answer the question as best she can, and Ms. Vasquez is misrepresenting to her what she testified to.
Well, I'll strike the last part as non-responsive. Just if you could just answer the questions asked.
Woman, I think you mean person.
In fact, you testified that you were, quote, shocked when you saw press when you were leaving the courthouse. Yes?
Yes.
You weren't shocked at all, though, were you?
Incorrect. It was
You knew the
horrifying.
press would be at the courthouse, right, Ms. Heard?
No.
Well, you did bring your publicist to the courthouse with you on May 27th, 2016, didn't you?
I sure did. I'm a public figure. I brought my publicist in case it blew up. In case. And
You actually
I'm glad
had
I did.
alerted TMZ that you would be filing a TRO against Mr. Depp that very day,
No, I did
didn't
not.
you?
No, I did
The
not.
one day you didn't bother to wear makeup to cover up the mark on your face.
I did not call TMZ or any other news source or paparazzi source. No one.
Well,
I never
heard
did that.
testimony from former TMZ employee Morgan Tremaine yesterday, correct?
Did I hear his testimony?
Yes.
Yes, I was here.
Yes. And you heard Mr. Tremaine's testimony that he knew to dispatch the paparazzi to the courthouse on May 27th, right?
I heard him say that he knew that, yes.
Yeah, and that he dispatched paparazzi to the courthouse to capture a picture of an alleged bruise on the right side of your face. Do you remember him saying that?
I remember him saying that.
That information must have come from your team, right, Ms. Heard?
Absolutely not. Why
Was
would
there
I
a
want that?
bruise?
What actual survivor of domestic violence wants that?
Now, the video of Mr. Depp beating up some kitchen cabinets, you admit that you took that.
Okay. I'm sorry. when someone asks, why would I want that or why would I do that in a situation like this, for me, it's always come off as sus. I don't know. Because then it's like, you're trying to make me think on my feet here to try to throw me off, is what I feel like, at least. Why would I want that? Yeah, let me think for a minute. Why would you want that?
Video, correct?
Yes, I did.
And you acknowledge that the video was released online the day before you were deposed in connection with your divorce from Mr. Depp in August of 2016, right?
I believe it was, yes.
But you testified that you had absolutely nothing to do with the video's release, right?
Absolutely not.
And you testified that you learned about it when you landed after flying into LA. Do you remember that testimony?
Upon touchdown is when I was alerted to the video's existence.
You heard Mr.
online.
Tremaine testify that about this video as well yesterday, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And you heard Mr. Tremaine testify that TMZ received the cabinet video the same day you landed at LAX, yes?
I don't know if that. I don't know if that's
the cabinet video is the one where he's slamming the cabinets around.
You heard Mr. Tremaine testify that the cabinet video was posted 15 minutes after TMZ received it, yes?
That's what I heard him say.
And that this could only have been possible if the video was received directly from the source, yes?
I heard him say that. I don't know if that's true or if that's possible because it didn't come from me. I was flying.
Tremaine
so I know that's incorrect, is what I mean to say.
Another liar on the stand?
I just know that that's incorrect.
Right.
Wait, are you allowed to make snarky comments like that in court? Is that like... I'm sorry, like okay, me and my mom started watching Better Call Saul last night. We watched the first 2 episodes and I was like, okay, I watched the Legal Eagle reaction to this and he's, you know, I know that most of it is like fairly realistic, I guess, on a legal level, but like, I don't think you can be this brazen in court when you're talking, you know, and talking to the judge and stuff. But then I'm seeing this and it's like, fuck. You know, yes, you can. You can be this brazen and I'm gonna die and lose my buffs. Oh no. Oh no. 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 I didn't even kill the one that I actually had targeted. Or tagged.
And you heard Mr. Tremaine testify that TMZ owns the copyright to the cabinet video, right?
That was like 20 gold worth of buffs.
The cabinet video you filmed of your then husband, yes?
The copyright ownership of that is news to me. I learned that yesterday.
It's the cabinet video that you captured of your then husband, yes?
That is correct. I did capture that video, and yes, that was my husband.
The same cabinet video that was released the night before you were deposed in your divorce, yes?
That's correct.
Okay. You must have also heard Mr. Tremaine testify that the version of the cabinet video that TMZ received was incomplete compared to the video the jury saw in this trial. Did you hear that?
The video that that you have seen is complete.
Right. But the one TMZ got the day before your deposition in the divorce was incomplete.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
He testified that at the beginning portion of the video where you set up the camera, that wasn't included in the video that TMZ received.
I don't know what video TMZ received.
I'm talking about Mr. Tremaine's testimony, Ms. Hurd. Let's just focus on Mr. Tremaine.
You're asking me to repeat his testimony?
No, I'm asking you if you recall hearing him say those words to this jury.
Yes, I heard his testimony. We all did.
And he testified that the end of the video where you can be seen smirking. I know you testified earlier that you haven't been smirking in this trial, but you sure were caught on camera smirking in that video.
I disagree with that.
Was also not included in the TMZ video.
Everyone can watch that video and you can determine whether you think it's funny to me or not.
That's because the video came from you, right, Ms. Hurd?
No, it did not.
You edited out the portions.
That video did not come to me. I mean, come from me.
Ms. Hurd, you edited out the portions that made you look bad before sending it to TMZ.
Ms. Hurd?
You're very wrong about that.
So that
if I wanted to leak information, I could have done it in a more effective way, a lot sooner and a lot more.
Because
I was living with a mountain of this evidence. If I wanted to leak it, I could have done a lot more with it.
I thought you testified earlier in this trial that you didn't know how to leak things.
I don't.
You edited that video before you gave it to TMZ so that only Mr. Depp would look bad. Yes?
That's absurd.
Right in the middle of your divorce proceedings.
Again, you're very wrong.
I'd like to show you a picture that's already admitted into evidence. It's Defendant's Exhibit 799.
She's on fire today, this lawyer.
This is you at the
Good Lord.
courthouse on May 27th, 2016, when you got your domestic violence restraining order against Mr. Depp, right?
It is.
And next to you is a woman named Jody Gottlieb, right?
Yes, yes.
Jody Gottlieb is your publicist?
And dear friend.
Now I'd like to show you what's been marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit 1316. This is a picture of you and your friend Rocky Pennington, right?
That is correct.
Your Honor, I'd like to move to admit this photograph.
Any objection to 1316?
No, Your Honor.
All right, 1316 in evidence. You can publish to the jury.
This is a picture of you on May 28th, 2016, right, Ms. Heard?
I don't know when this was taken.
This is the day after you obtained the domestic violence restraining order against Mr. Depp, right?
I have no idea when this image was taken. I did not take it.
There's no bruise on your face in this picture, is there?
Again, I don't know when this was taken, and also I'm outside. I was obviously wearing makeup. I have no idea when this was taken, so I have no idea if I can speak to what bruise you can see or not.
Let's refresh your recollection about when this picture was taken. Can we please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 1315, just for the witness? This is an article dated May 30th, 2016, right, Ms. Heard?
That's what it says, yes.
And this article contains the same photograph of you and Ms. Pennington we were just looking at, yes?
Yes, I see that.
And the article is entitled, Amber Heard Smiles as She Puts Arm Around Friend One Day After Getting Restraining Order Against Johnny Depp. Is that what the title says?
I know that's what the title says, yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to move to admit and publish the article with everything but the headline and date and the photo redacted.
Objection, Your Honor. That's inconsistent from the way you've treated all of these.
I'll sustain the objection. All right, next question.
Let's take a look at picture Plaintiff's Exhibit 1317. This is also a picture of you and Ms. Pennington on May 28th, 2016, isn't it?
I don't know when this photo was taken, but it looks like the same outing as the picture prior.
Your Honor, I'm going to move to admit and publish Plaintiff's Exhibit 1317.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, 1317 in evidence. You can publish.
There's no bruise on your face in this picture either, right?
I disagree. If it is taken when you represent it was taken, then obviously there's a bruise on my face. It's covered by makeup, as per usual.
Let's zoom out of that picture for a moment, please. Thanks, Tom. That's Josh Drew in this picture, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And Ms. Pennington?
That is correct.
In there too? Ms. Pennington submitted a sworn statement on your behalf in support of your domestic violence restraining order, didn't she?
I believe she did, yes.
Mr. Drew also submitted a statement in support of your domestic violence restraining order.
I believe they both did, yes. Mm-hmm.
Ms. Heard, I'd like to show you Defendant's Exhibit 512, which is already in evidence.
Damn, hold on.
You've seen this photograph before, right?
All right, chat, hold on. You guys are about to see my fat dumpy. My vape did a little die. Did a little battery die. So I'm gonna have to go put it on the charger. I need to get 2 of these so I can interchange them. There we go. All right, I'll be right back, chat. Oh. Deadpan. Okay. He hides the dumpy. He hides it. All right. Back to work.
I have.
On the second day of your direct testimony, you testified that this was taken in the downstairs of the main apartment on December 15th, 2015. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes, I believe so.
believe
So it's
so.
your testimony that Defendant's Exhibit 512 reflects damage to Penthouse 5 that occurred during the December 15th, 2015 incident. Yes?
I'm not quite sure from what incident this is when I see this photo in a vacuum without context.
Let's give you that context. Can we please, thanks, if I could have day 16 trial testimony? Your Honor, may we approach?
All right.
All the emotional grandeur of trials like this is
Could you
lame to
please
me.
turn first to page
I think it makes it more exciting.
4585?
That's the fun part, the emotional grandeur. Why are we looking at the floor?
Specifically on,
This is a
starting
video.
on line 16.
Oh, it's gonna be the video, I think.
Where it says, let's talk about December 15th, 2015.
You said 458. I'm on 4485. Sorry, you said 4585.
4585.
Pardon.
Line 16. Line 16, where it says, let's talk about December 15th, 2015. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. And then do you see that your testimony about December 15th, 2015 follows?
Let's see. It's just the first line or two.
I think we're gonna see the
Now I'd
cabinet
like
video.
you to turn to page 4603.
Page 4603.
Starting at
Jesus
line 12.
Christ.
4603.
All the paperwork. Good lord. The amount
Starting
of-
at line 12 and going on to page 4604, line 4.
Sorry for speaking over you, my queen. Please stomp in my throat.
And do you see that you testified that Defendant's Exhibit 512, which is on the screen,
yes,
is a picture of the downstairs of the main apartment?
That's correct.
And the main apartment is Penthouse 5 in the Eastern Columbia building, right?
No, well, depends on what. The main apartment's penthouse 3, generally, when we say main apartment.
Penthouse 5 was where you had your closet?
The downstairs was kind of like had some of my painting studio set up and a reception area. Upstairs was the closet. Mezzanine office was in between.
Not as passive aggressive as British Parliament. British people have mastered passive aggressiveness, okay? Because they're pussies, but at the same time, they're very hateful. So they have to like find a way to express how angry and mean they are without like directly inciting a confrontation. Because then, you know, then they have to deal with confrontation, and British people are pussies, so, you know, that's why they developed that.
All right, so it's your testimony that Defendant's Exhibit 512 reflects damage to the penthouse, Penthouse 5, that occurred during the December 15th, 2015 incident, right?
I'm just not sure from which incident this is a picture of, since I'm only looking at
Even
a
though your
partial
counsel
floor.
was
Chat
asking you
mad.
questions about December 15th, 2015, and then admitted this
Any bongers
this
in
picture
chat?
into evidence
Again,
in
in my
relation to that incident.
Sorry, go ahead.
In relation to that incident on December 15th, 2015. This exhibit, Defendant's Exhibit, you are the defendant, number 512, was admitted into evidence in this court. You testified that this was the result of damage that occurred on December 15th, 2015. Yes or no?
I just need to orient myself because I'm just looking at a picture of a partial
No,
picture of a
Ms. Heard,
floor,
you didn't just
so
look
I
at a
can't.
picture. You looked at your testimony.
You pointed me towards the page and then asked me a question. I haven't actually reviewed it. I don't know if this was submitted in relation to that incident.
Let's pull up Let's actually leave up defendants 512 and please pull up defendants exhibit 725, which is already in evidence.
Thank you.
In redacted form, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You can publish.
Just side by side. You've seen this photograph as well, right?
I have.
On the third day of your direct testimony, you testified that this photograph reflected spilled wine in Penthouse 5 on May 21st, 2016, didn't you?
Again, I don't know because I'm looking at a partial picture of a floor, so unless you remove the metadata you've covered up, we could then tell. If you
I didn't
remove,
cover it up, Your Honor.
Could we unredact
Your Honor
them
did.
so we could get context?
That's how it's in evidence.
That's how it's in evidence.
Next question.
Well, the metadata next to it is so that
Ms.
to
Heard,
avoid this
Ms.
sort of
Heard,
confusion.
there is no question pending, and I would appreciate it if you wouldn't be making argument to the jury.
Sorry, I
It's
thought you had
inappropriate.
asked me about it.
No, I didn't ask you about anything. Let's look at your direct testimony from the third day.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
This lawyer is so, like, you know, aggro.
Let's turn to page 4750 in day 17 transcript.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
4750.
Jesus. She'd be a good debater. We need to get her in the debate bro sphere. She'd be scary to debate.
Specifically line 16. Do you see where Ms. Bredehoff asked you to describe for the jury what took place on May 21st, 2016?
I see that.
And do you see that your testimony is reflected about May 21, 2015?
Yes.
That follows? Okay.
Yes.
Now let's turn to page 4804. At line 14. 4804. Starting at line 14?
Yes.
Through 4805, line 4.
Going to what line?
Line 4 at 4805. Do you see that you're testifying that defendant's exhibit 725, which is reflected on the right side, reflects spilled wine on the floor in Penthouse 5?
That's correct.
Okay. And defendant's exhibit 512 and 725 seem to be different versions of the same picture, don't they?
That's correct.
Okay. So which is it? Which one was taken on December 15th, 2015, or May 21st, 2016?
If you remove the redacted metadata, you can find out. It's right there.
Or if you're telling the truth, you would know.
Recognize a portion of spilled wine on a floor, and I'm supposed to know off the top of my head when you've
No.
lived through 5 years of this stuff? I don't think so. That's not how that works.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Ms. Heard, at the beginning of your cross-examination last
Your Honor, may
week...
we approach?
Yes.
Oh. They're muting again.
In the 9.
All right,
Oh, yeah.
ladies and gentlemen in the gallery, I would ask that there be no words or no phrases, no words, no sounds at all coming from you. If I hear one more sound, I will clear the gallery and we will continue this testimony without anybody in the courtroom. Understood? Good. All right, your next question.
Jesus Christ.
Ms. Heard, at the beginning of your cross-examination
Sounds like a
last
teacher
week, I
yelling
showed
at the
you an
class.
audio where you told Mr. Depp to tell the jury, tell the judge, tell the world that he is a victim of domestic abuse. Do you remember that?
That's correct.
And you testified you found it hard to believe that Mr. Depp would tell the world that he's a victim of domestic abuse, didn't you?
I said I find it hard to believe that he would do that knowing that he himself had beat me up for 5 years.
But he has told the world that he's your victim of domestic abuse, hasn't he?
Well, he started to say that only recently. He didn't make that claim up until very recently. So when we signed our divorce agreement and we signed a statement saying that neither party had ever said false claims for financial gain, It was relevant and important to me because I was the only one making the accusations. I was the only one making those claims. He wasn't doing that at the time, and he signed his name to it.
You didn't expect as many people to show up and testify on his behalf that did you?
Incorrect.
When you told this jury under oath that you never assaulted, actually, strike that, sorry, Your Honor. When you told this jury under oath that you punched Mr. Depp because you thought of Mr. Depp pushing Kate Moss down the stairs, you didn't expect Ms. Moss to agree to testify that never happened, did you?
Incorrect. I know how many people will come out of the woodwork to be in support of Johnny.
So you think Ms. Moss needs to come out of the woodwork to testify for Mr. Depp?
Everybody who was around in the 90s and the early aughts knew that rumor. I had heard that rumor from multiple people. Of course, that's what flashed through my head when my violent husband not only swung for me, but all of a sudden swung for my sister. Of course I thought of that. I did not expect her to show up or not expect her to show up. It didn't matter. It doesn't change what I believed at the time when we were on the stairs and I thought he was going to kill my sister by pushing her down the stairs.
You told this jury under oath that Mr. Depp was aggressive and trashed a trailer in Hicksville. You didn't expect the manager of the Hicksville property, Morgan Knight, to come forward and testify that was untrue, did you?
Incorrect. I've already been through trials with this man. I know how many people will come out in support of him.
When you told this jury under oath that you had no idea that the paparazzi would be at the courthouse on May 27th, 2016, you didn't expect a TMZ employee to show up to testify that TMZ had been alerted that you would be at the courthouse and knew exactly which side of your face to take a picture of, did you?
I know how many people will come out and say whatever for him. That's his power. That's why I wrote the op-ed, is I was speaking to that phenomenon. How many people will come out in support of him and will fall to his power? He is a very powerful man, and people love currying favor with powerful men.
Currying
and I know
favor
that
and
firsthand. I've
risking
lived
jail
it.
time for committing perjury?
Excuse me? I didn't hear your question.
You didn't
Excuse
hear
me?
my question?
Ms. Vasquez, if you do mind, please just repeat the question. I didn't hear you.
Curry favor and commit perjury in this courtroom?
I have
For
seen
a
people
powerful
do this.
man?
I have seen people do this time and time again. That's why I wrote the op-ed.
You didn't expect Ben King, the house manager in Australia, to show up from England. He flew from England to testify that Mr. Depp's fingertip was found exactly where he said it would be. Did you?
I have never heard Johnny testify to knowing where his finger was, or really, frankly, making a claim that he knew where it was when it was found. I've never heard Johnny claim that.
You didn't expect
Johnny
Keenan
doesn't-
Wyatt.
Johnny has never
Ms.
actually
Heard,
said that.
Ms. Heard.
And
I think the
Ben
jury
King,
can,
yes.
Ms. Heard, there's no question pending. You didn't expect Keenan Wyatt, Mr. Depp's longtime sound technician, to show up and testify that Mr. Depp is not being fed lines through his earpieces, but instead music, did you?
Not that it matters much, but of course I did. I know how his employees treat him.
So you
I know how
probably-
his team treats him. Of course I expected that.
Okay, so you probably expected Isaac Baruch to come and testify for Mr. Depp, right?
I'm not sure I thought about that.
Yeah, but you didn't expect Mr. Baruch to weep for Mr. Depp after what you've put him through and so many others with your lies.
I
did you?
relate to Isaac because he and I are
There's
the
no
only
further
ones who
questions, Your
cried
Honor.
on this stand.
Nothing further.
All right. Redirect.
Johnny got fingered. Stop.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Heard, if Mr. Baruch felt misled,
Amber Heard fingered
who misled him?
Johnny.
Johnny, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
No, Amber, you fingered me, Amber. You fingered me. Now you've fingered me, haven't you?
From crying. This is horrible.
Ms. Vasquez has suggested that you faked bruises on your face. Is that true?
Absolutely not. I didn't need to.
Did you ever fake an injury caused by Mr. Depp?
No.
Is any of the evidence of your injuries that has been put to the jury
Abuse funny? Listen, anything can be funny. Lighten up. Have some fun, okay? Chill out. This is a fucking live stream. I'm playing World of Warcraft. I'm a 22-year-old YouTuber and Twitch streamer. Chill out. It ain't that serious.
in this trial fake?
No, absolutely not.
And to the extent that there may be some confusion over when a picture of spilled wine was taken, why might that be?
Objection.
Because there's so
Lack of
many-
foundation.
Overruled. Because there's so many incidents of violence. There's so many pictures. There's so much evidence. Most people don't have this kind of evidence for years. 5 years. And when I was saying that to Johnny on the phone in that recording, I was saying for years this has been going on. And I have pictures, we have texts, we have everything. Normally you don't get this amount of evidence. That's what I was pointing out to Johnny. It would be crazy to try to challenge this in this way. It's crazy. It's easy to not know the context of a picture of spilled wine because there are so many more important details, pictures, and also so much I didn't photograph, so much I didn't have the presence.
Objection,
of mind
non-responsive.
document.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Did Mr. Depp abuse you physically?
Yes.
Verbally?
Yes.
Emotionally?
Yes.
Psychologically?
Yes.
How did the threats that Mr. Depp made against you individually years ago resemble what you've endured as a result of the Depp-Waldman statements?
This is Amber
Beyond the
Heard's
scope of
lawyer.
cross, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Johnny promised me he would ruin me, that he'd ruin my career, he'd take my life from me. Death was the only way out. And if I got out, this is what he'd do to me. He'd make me think of him every single day. He promised me global humiliation. You saw those texts. What he couldn't do, the work of one individual, meaning Johnny, when he was inviting a disgruntled employee over for a spot of purple to fix my flabby ass up, that revenge that he sought back then was just what he could do as an individual, calling the studio to get me fired, trying to block
Objection, Your Honor. Lack of foundation, speculation, hearsay,
all in
non-responsive.
I'll sustain as to non-responsive.
Ms. Heard, how did those
just
things that
shotgunned
you just
those-
testified to that Mr. Depp did, how did those resemble what happened to you after
objections
the
out.
Depp-Waldman counterclaim statements were made?
Those are
Objection, Your
just-
Honor. Lack of foundation.
She's
overruled.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Those are just an echo of what I'm living through today. It's like what I'm living in right now. What you see in this courtroom is an echo. This courtroom and the other courtroom he dragged me into to do the same thing again. That's just an echo of the violence and the abuse that I suffered within our relationship. The campaigns to have me fired, the blocking me to try to ruin my career, the threats he's made to humiliate me globally are being lived out in real time in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, for the past 6 weeks and for the whole world since our camera's here.
No further questions. Thank you so much, Amber.
All right, Ms. Heard, you can have a seat next to your attorneys. If I can have the attorney.
All right. What do you guys think? Hey, T, what's up? What do you guys think? How compelling do you think her testimony was? Do you believe her? I want to hear what you guys think in chat. Can we actually do a poll? I want to know, like, who believes... Who's siding more with who, I guess you could say. Because there's only going to be one winner of this, and I guess... Who are you more so hoping comes out of this better, you know? Who wins this case? (50-50) Her acting is so bad explains why she's an Aquaman. Aquaman is more like Aquamid. I mean, am I right or am I right? Let's be nice. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I think Amber's going to win, but Johnny got what he wanted out of it. Do you think so? Like, do you think Johnny Depp has repaired his reputation from this enough? I don't know. I guess, like, the court of public opinion is very different, and at the end of the day, what's really going to decide whether or not Johnny Depp gets to continue his career will be the court of public opinion. I feel like enough people would continue to support Johnny Depp even if, like, smoking gun evidence of him beating the shit out of Amber Heard came out. I feel like there'd still be some percentage of Depp fans and people, obviously, that are, like, anti-Me Too and stuff. that would be like based or whatever and wouldn't give a shit and would, you know, be enough there to support Johnny Depp even if his career was basically over as far as being like an A-list celebrity goes. Repaired entirely, or mostly? I don't know. I think like the sentiment on the internet is definitely more pro Johnny Depp, it would seem, than Amber Heard. It seems like everybody's more or less in agreement that Amber Heard's like a demon or something, which, God, like, do you guys believe like the narrative that Amber Heard's like this manipulative monster? Curious what you guys think. 60-40 Depp Heard, you'd say? Interesting. Here, let me crack my back really quick. Not a monster, just shitty. You think she's a fucking demon? Crack the back. Kinda yes, it is sus. It does suss me out when she does stuff like pose for the camera in the court with the tissue. Yeah, but like, even if she's not lying, that's what you'd be doing if you're trying to like win the court's favor, right? All right, here's what I think we should do for the remainder of the stream. Let's chill out and do some React content, huh? Let's find some videos to react to and have a little bit of chill time before we wrap things up. Let me run an advertisement really fast. Gotta run an advertisement. Booba? Where are they, T? Where are the boobas? Send me in the direction of Booba. What do we want to watch for a hot minute before we wrap stream up? What is this?
You make it, we shoot it. Chicks really dig my awesome singing abilities.
Glass shotgun slugs.
Hi, and welcome
worst
to
nightmare.
Talflater Mouse Channel. Today we have some awesome slugs made by a guy named Sam Strobel. His channel is called Subconscious Design.
Reza Sutra, thank you for the 2 tier 1 gifted subs. I appreciate that. Thank you for the $10. Very kind of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Didn't say anything, but I do appreciate it.
I hope you'll check out this video because these are not made like you think they are. Now these are some of the most ornate, fancy, schmancy slugs that we've ever shot. They look like something out of like one of those weirdo role-playing games with some kind of enchanted crystal thingies. And they are designed to be shot out of a 12-gauge shotgun. Now Sam did a fantastic job making these things. Not only are they're just works of art, but they're also dimensionally perfect for a shotgun. Even though they're rather long, each one weighs about 1 ounce. He put nails and other things inside there, and it just the effect of it is just really stunning. Now the first 2 I've just loaded right into the shell, and then the last 2 I used these really deep shot cups because these are a little...
One Piece, thanks for the $5. I appreciate that. Very kind of you, my friend. Says, wait, Zan, this video is funny, and also make sure chat sees it. Or Sonic Realm with no MILF, no vape, and no lock and load pills. Oh no. Alright.
Sonic the Hedgehog!
Hey, what's going on, Daddy?
I'm tired of it. What?
I said, what is the problem, Papa?
I am not your father, you little shit!
But you made me in a lab!
That was retcon, you fucking idiot!
Now, Dad, if you keep swearing in front of me, I'm gonna call Child Protective Services.
What are they gonna fucking do?
The court finds that for the abuse you've given Sonic Robotnik III, you will be forced to give up your science stuffs, your monies, and your robots.
My robots?
Well, you should have expected this after being so cruel to your poor blue boy.
He's not my son!
You know, that is not the best defense in a court case where you're trying to prove you're not a child abuser. I'm just saying.
Am I losing my mind?
Well, to tell you the truth, we're trying to get you arrested for terrorism and slavery, but we don't have the legal fees to cover that, so this is basically a cover-up second trial like OJ.
Oh!
Oh, also on Tuesday, you're scheduled for the chair.
What?
Wait, there's another one. Wait.
Yo, Knuckles, what's up, man? Oh, God! Knuckles, what the hell, dude?
Shut up!
What?
Shh. I'm going to explain. And you're not to interrupt, okay?
Okay.
I was given the ability to think again after 15 years, and I've come to a realization. I want Tails.
Hi. You can't take Tails.
I want a little brother, damn it!
No, get your own Tails!
I can't afford one! I'm out of money! This is all I have, damn it!
Dang, you gotta take a chill pill, Uncle Knuckles.
Did you teach him to call me that?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's funny. Uncle Knuckles, yeah.
Keep him, you ruined him. I take 15 years to be able to think again. It ruins everything. Stupid god.
Uncle Knuckles.
No!
Okay. Okay, thank you, One Piece. Thank you. Let's see this glass shotgun slug shit.
Smaller in size. So hopefully those will fit down the barrel, hit the rifling of the shotgun, and cause them to spin. Let's see what happens.
All right, we're gonna shoot Sam's glass nail around here.
brother.
Looks kind of like a Christmas ornament or an icicle.
Hell yeah, brother. Look like I'm shooting an icicle. Hell yeah, brother. Shoot that goddamn thing. Let's go, brother.
It's an actual glass cylinder that has a nail embedded in it. And let's see how it goes.
Yeah, break action.
And prunes.
Prunes. Glass number 1. Okay, hit it. Wow.
Was that clay? That's clay.
It was kind of an overcast day today, but still we got some really good imagery with the Chronos camera. As you can see,
Just
the
shatters.
majority of the slug shattered when it was shot, but a big enough piece stayed on target and did a number on that clay block.
That'll get the job done.
I was quite surprised he was able to hit the clay block at all. Okay, hit it. Wow.
See that glass pour out of there?
Yeah. Okay, hit it. Okay, in this shot, I removed the rifle choke tube. Some people call it a paradox, but watch this. The slug does a tumble and hits the vest nose first. Absolutely amazing. And 1 ounce of anything flying through the air is gonna do some serious damage.
Just caves
okay,
it in.
Let's have a look and see what exactly that slug did to that level 3A Kevlar vest.
Poor limbless guy.
So, in doing Doug's autopsy, we approached this table and found Kevlar strands mixed with Doug's internal foam and the pile of glass that you probably saw in the slow-mo. Inside of here, pieces of wire. Was that?
Yeah, I had nail or wire.
Okay, that's
little.
jammed with shards of wire in it, and if you can see inside here, pulverized glass, dust.
Oh boy.
Glass rounds are the future, chat. You heard it here first. Glass rounds are the future of warfare. There's no other explanation, no other option. It's the only way. It's the only way. Don't make the rules. All right. My neck literally still hurts. I don't know how, but it is still giving me shit. It doesn't hurt too bad to turn to the right. It's like a little bit of a twinge right here. Like, it goes from my back, like right around my shoulder muscle, all the way up to the base of my skull. And a little bit up into my skull a little bit too. And then obviously the same on the other side as well. The entire channel's like that. It's glorious. I'll have to check it out. It seems like a good channel. But in the meantime, unfortunately, I must leave you all. I'm sorry. But thank you all so much for the support you've come out with today. It has actually been quite glorious, and I really do appreciate all of you. You guys came out and chat. We had a very high view count today as well. And yeah, it's just been a generally fun and honestly funny stream. So thank you all so much for coming out. I really appreciate it. You are all so goddamn amazing, and I will see all of you next time. Have a good one.